I see mad people.
Hey, catch up on the wall, yo.
Hey, catch up on the wall, yo. Bonnie says they're on the desk, where did they go? Pam down in the shredder room, that's what we know. Your story has more holes than your course in Mar-a-Lago. What's up with these lame excuses blaming Obama? Your whole party hates you, your hat, and your mama. How many names you got? What cat got your tongue? You forget your BFF Jack who likes some young. Cover your ass and hide the files that you took. Come on, Donnie boy, let's take a look. Can we take a peek in that little black book? Can't cover up, it really makes you think. Redact all you want, boy, you running out of ink. Say Trump, I hear you like I'm young. So did, what? Cat got your tongue? You thought the story ended now that old Jeff's dead. Better pray a prison cell has a tan in bed. You know the best words, the best people, everything the best. So spill the tea on your besties from the Lolita Express. Not the only politics with freak off miles. Certified cover up, certified Epstein files. Wop, 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 wop. Trump really sucks. Wop, 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 wop. I'ma do my stuff. You know Epstein was the plan's designer. Bet your Trump's in the files in bed with A minor. Trump not like us, Trump not like us, Trump not like us. Trump not like us, Trump not like us, Trump not like us. Trump not like us, Trump not like us, Trump not like us. Trump not like us, Trump not like us, Trump not like us.
So for my birthday, my mom got me this big jar of honey and this big jar of jelly. I'm gonna have the best sandwiches now, you guys.
Wow, that's to me. Zach, when's your birthday?
Guess.
I don't know, March 10th.
Close.
Yeah.
Keep going, yeah, guess.
I don't know, just March 11th.
No.
Zach, just tell me when your
No,
birthday
just keep
is.
going. You're almost there. Go.
Oh,
guess.
look at me, I'm Zach. It's not enough that you're asking when my birthday is. I gotta make a game out of it, because I need attention.
Trevor, what the Come here.
What?
Trevor, you know I have an attention problem, man.
What are you talking about?
What am I talking about? I have an attention problem. I need it. I crave it all the time, okay? I'm working on it, but don't bring that up in front of people, man.
That is
Trevor, I have attention deficit disorder, okay?
It's not even what that means.
That is what that means.
You're just being a drama queen.
Shut the up. I have attention deficit disorder. I'm working on it. I'm trying to better myself. Don't bring it up in front of people, man. Let's go back, but shut it. Shut it.
Hey, we couldn't hear you guys because you guys were over there and we were over here.
Yeah. Oh, hey, Zach, isn't your birthday on March 1st, right?
Timmy is correct. Timmy wins the prize. Way to go, Timmy.
Yeah, that's the same day as Candace's birthday.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Candace, how is she? I haven't seen her in years.
She's good, she's good. That guy stopped stalking her.
Oh! Shh! Oh, God, guys, no, my toe.
okay?
No, guys, help.
Zach,
My toe hurts. Timmy, hold it up.
Look, guys, he didn't really hurt his foot, all right? He just wants attention.
Trevor, you did it again.
Trevor, not cool. He's hurt and he's our friend.
No, he's not. And no, he's not. Look, he just wants attention. He told me over there. You guys started talking about Candace, so he needed to make it about him again. Tell him, Zach.
Is that true, Zach?
Yeah, it is true, Timmy. You see, guys, I have attention deficit disorder.
That's so sad, Zach. I never knew.
I know, not many people do, Darren. But I wrote a song about it that helps explain my condition. If you guys would care to hear it, I'd sing it for you gladly. Yeah, sure, take a seat. I'll stand up on the stage.
He's doing
Trevor,
it again.
shut the up. Here we go. Zach, all alone, baby Zach. No attention is shown to baby Zach. Zach,
All right, you know what?
all
Turn
alone,
around,
he's
turn
baby
around,
Zach.
turn around. Ignore him.
No
Look
one
ahead.
is home for
Because he's
baby
addicted to attention,
Zach.
and we're playing into
No
his addiction. This is the
attention
only
is
way we can
shown
help
to
him. Just look
baby
straight ahead and ignore him.
Zach. Guys, I'm like bearing my heart here. Hello, it's rude to turn your back on me, guys. My foot still really, really hurts because I think I might have cracked or something is sprained. Guys, I need to go to a doctor. We got to get this checked out. Guys, look! Guys, look at me! I am fat. I am so fat. And I don't think I'm going to eat anything for a while. Or maybe I'll eat something, and then I'll just throw it up.
No, Zach, you look fine.
I do?
Be strong, look forward.
Zach, do you need attention anymore? All right. See, now that he's calmed down, we can go back and hang out with him. See? Oh,
He's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, sometimes that'll happen.
Any of you incels, QAnon, 4chan, Snyder Cut, motherfuckers want to get out of line now? Anybody? I think so.
Forced adversity.
Coming in with intelligence briefing. It isn't clear how letter with Trump's signature was prepared. Inside the outline of the naked woman was a typewritten note styled as an imaginary conversation between Donald Trump and Epstein, written in third person. Voice over. There must be more to life than having everything, the note began.
Yes, there is, but I won't tell you what it is.
Nor will I, since I also know what it is.
We have certain things in common, Jeffrey.
Yes, we do, come to think of it.
Enigmas never age. They never age. Have you noticed that?
As a matter of fact, it was clear to me the last time I saw you.
A pal is a wonderful thing to have. Happy birthday, and may every day be another wonderful secret.
All
right.
Dead.
All right.
You know what I like about those enigmas? It actually means little girls, as in I'm barely even hiding it. It's so poetic that Epstein, which MAGA has spent years crying about, now is like, don't talk about Epstein. Who cares? Yeah.
Well, half of them are like that, and half of them like, what do you mean? What about all of the thing?
Half of them are straight up just like, Donald, what's up, man? What's going on? Hey, welcome everybody. We can turn cameras on now if you want to. Let the folks see our beauty.
Hello.
All right. Yeah, well, there's we were gonna do like a recorded thing. You know what? We said, we're three, slightly below to average level talent people. We might as well just fucking do it live,
Talent is a way to describe what that was.
Yeah, the fucking Abe Lincoln sketch is probably the best. It's genuinely fucking great. Like, he's a big fucking piece of shit, basically. It's like by the time he gets killed, you're like, yeah, I get it.
That music video, was the other puppet supposed to be Drake?
I don't know.
Who was dancing with Epstein and Trump?
It's all AI, and look, I hate to do that to you.
No.
It was AI. It's one of the slightly better examples, but I did want to. The only reason I would do that is because I want to lead into one little quick aside before we get into the main topics of the day. And this is a surprise for Bob and Morgan. They don't know that I'm bringing this to them. This is as we call it around here. What do we call it? The Tipper Gore experience.
Ah, we have the Tipper Gore experience.
Tipper Gore experience. So look, okay. So my son is 10 years old.
Sure.
We realized lately that he's got like some kind of, he's on the autism spectrum like myself, but like he's got some kind of hang up with chewing and swallowing sometimes, which is actually more common than you might think. But like it kind of disturbed us. We're like, what the hell? Like you still got food in your mouth from like half an hour ago. You know what I mean? And so we started kind of looking on YouTube and looking around to see what we might watch to see, as a family to kind of, we found some pretty great, there's some great information, great, whatever kind of doctors and, clinicians that work in that kind of thing, doing great examples of showing exactly how you masticate and swallow and all that stuff. He thinks mastication is a very funny word. I don't know why.
It's right. It is a funny word.
But, so there's some legit great content on there, and I wish I would have thought to write them down. They're out there. What I'm going to show you tonight, though, is where YouTube is headed when it comes to apparently educational videos. You guys might remember a few months back, let me get this shit off the screen. you might remember a few months back where I actually got dinged for medical misinformation due to, I think I was quoting something that an anti-vaxxer said.
I think you were literally quoting RFK Jr.
And like everything, the conversation, a good half hour around that was about how this is stupid and bad information. But somebody somehow, and I was like, you know what, fuck it. I had to take like a 7-minute little course in YouTube in order to get it to go away. It wasn't like I got a permanent strike or whatever, but I just had it pissed me off. That's for just quoting while trying to debunk.
Right.
I'd like to introduce you to what you are likely to find if you search for digestive system, like see your digestive system in action. Okay.
Uh-oh. I'm scared.
Uh-oh.
These are real. You can look these up.
Do I have to?
Okay. That's the grossest one. They get more disturbing, but not as gross, maybe. I don't know. It's hard to fucking quantify, but like here's another. I got 3. These are literally labeled "See your digestive system in action." 3D diagram or 3D anatomical, correct anatomical, digestive. Like they're getting views, man. One last one. This might be the most existentially upsetting.
Wow.
Welcome to the
That
future,
looked like,
folks. Welcome to
that looked like one of the engineers from Aliens.
Yeah, kind of did.
Damn, tell on them, please.
Yeah,
somebody do something. God damn it.
Well, this
is literal slop. It's the most definitionally accurate term for slop or thing for slop, right? But like it's there and it's getting views, and nobody's apparently doing shit about it.
Well, because I have to imagine, given the amount that YouTube's parent company, Alphabet, aka Google, has put into the very technology used to make that slop, they need to make their money back on that slop because that shit does not pay for itself. No, literally, like they're in the whole billions of dollars trying to pay to run those servers on a daily basis.
Melissa, I'm not sure if you commented before. I don't remember if you have. If not, whatever. Welcome. Glad to have you here. However, I must stress, those are in no way medically accurate. I'm not in medical school. I know that those are not medically accurate. When you digest something, you do not sprout a steaming tomato out of one hand and then laugh as you pull another one out of your lower intestines. That's not how that works. So, sorry.
At least not yet. We don't know what evolution holds in the future. But
crabs.
Let's extrapolate. Let's say that this becomes just like a common way for people to understand things, and the AI that eventually takes over the world thinks that this is the way humans digest. They might just start programming, like, kind of like genetically engineering us to operate this way. So maybe we should get familiar with it. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's not AI that scares me. It's nanite clouds that scare me, that can go into us and re-engineer us from, the DNA on up.
Bob,
that's
Bob,
the real
It
hell.
was just a movie, Bob. It was just a movie. It was Superman.
We're all, yeah.
Okay, good. I'm glad you know that's not how it works.
It's still very, yeah, I'm a little queasy after that, Melissa. You're not alone. Sorry about that. We all got the Tipper Gore experience on that one.
I'm sorry I had to do it to you. I did prepare the co-host. I said, guys, I have something amazing for you tomorrow. And then I said, existential despair warning. I should have said maybe just horror.
The last one was just straight up body horror.
We've got a regular FAP, and then we've got something new we're going to try out tonight. We've been talking about. It's an idea that kind of got us excited, kicking it around the office. So first up, let's just go ahead and get. Okay, for this episode, I think we've maybe done this once before. This is not the Fapcast. This is the Forced Adversity podcast. I think it's inappropriate to refer to it in the short term for this certain topics, and this is definitely probably number one. So this is the Forced. We're going to talk about Epstein, the Epstein list, on which it seems day by day more and more certain that our president is on it at least once. And if he's on there once, I'd guess it's probably more than half a dozen times. Hey, microphone, get out of my way. You can't see the goods. All right.
And
what do you
the
guys
way
think?
he's freaking out, I think the way he's freaking out about it implies to me that he is more deeply involved than any of us suspected to begin with. Like maybe at the level of financing or money laundering. And that's what he's really scared of. Because that he'll go down for.
We already know this about Trump.
Trump is a E. coli feces addict.
So, if that's the case, then who knows where it doesn't? You never know where the rails are. There's no rails.
It's shit all the way down.
That pretty somewhat impressive and yet still not okay. AI video, the parody of Not Like Us. It actually did kind of lay it out pretty well. The way things have gone, which we went over it Friday. If you can go watch that stream, I left it up public. So if you want to get a recap of everything, please do. If you're not caught up, if you're just like, what is this Epstein list about? Where the hell have you been? Congratulations, you made it out of the coma.
Or like your ability to dodge the never-ending spiral of nonsense for the last 6 months is on. Your game is on point, and I'm so proud of you.
True. Yeah.
Sorry to break your streak, hon.
Yeah, it blows my mind that there's a huge portion of the country that doesn't follow the news at all and barely knows who the president is.
Yeah.
Unless it's somebody that makes a bunch of noise all the time like this one. And he's been making a lot of noise about this. And man, somebody needed to tell him about the Streisand effect a long time ago. Because
the thing is that he's profited off of it, right? His whole brand is to Streisand himself into oodles of money. Yeah, I saw Sean points
this is the reason why we can say whatever we want. Not necessarily this show, but like on the Shillcast and the people involved in that, we say, Nerdrotic is a fucking scam artist. He's a con man, right? And they won't ever sue him because of discovery.
Right. Well, and just like the clip of them talking about that whole group talking about how, they find one issue and they blow it out of proportion. Like when it comes to defamation lawsuits, whether it's libel or what have you, truth is an absolute defense against defamation.
Yeah. And somebody needs to let Trump know that there will be discovery if he actually sues the Wall Street Journal as well. And I'm pretty sure he doesn't want that.
$10 billion is so frivolous. It's cartoonish, really.
It's a scare tactic. He's trying to intimidate them into backing down. And I don't think they're going to back down.
What he's trying to do is get them to settle so that they have to settle, and part of the settlement would be don't say this shit anymore. But I think if Rupert Murdoch is one of the most fucking, if there was such a thing as lizard people, he's one of them.
He is one of the shrewdest, most evil people on the planet. And that article was not published without his express consent.
And it also, he didn't publish it, consent to that being published without express agreement from the other actual cabal of people who rule the world. We talked about this Friday. Not Jews, not anybody, but just rich old white dudes that of all kinds of ethnicities. But the worm has turned, I believe. We talked about it again on Friday. Recommend checking that conversation out. Me and Bob's very good. But just to reiterate, Trump has done. He's worn out his usefulness. For the billionaire class, for the fucking the craven goblins that actually rule the world. Once again, not any kind of Jewish conspiracy theory, just money. But yeah, he's worn out his welcome. He did the fucking big beautiful bill, and now it's gonna bite him in his big boiled covered ass. She'd be stupid to not try and use this shit for something. But fuck her. I hope she fucking gets Epstein in prison too. I don't care. No, I hope she just reveals some stuff.
I think my favorite people online are the right wing people who are like, oh well, Bill Clinton's on the list, and we're like, yes, good. And release it anyway.
I'll do it.
Good. Yeah, please. It'd be my pleasure.
I'll do it one better. As a radical leftist here, one of the most formative political influences in my life, a large part of the reason I am the man I am today, is a guy named Noam Chomsky. I've read at least a dozen of his books.
Wow.
I credit him with some of the most important political insights of my young life. Noam Chomsky sought financial advice from Jeffrey Epstein after Epstein was convicted, and then flew with his wife on Epstein's plane to New York City, where he had dinner with Epstein and Woody Allen and his daughter wife. So fuck Noam Chomsky.
Well, fuck him.
I mean, look,
That's already sus as hell. And if he's on the list, I hope he no clips into the back rooms and never comes back.
No clip. That's a good one. Yeah, footage not found.
Yeah.
I actually have if you watched the Shillcast on Wednesday, you probably saw this. It's worth kind of looking at again, really, if you guys don't mind. Just a few minutes of it. It's not.
Sure, go for it.
It's from Wired. And if you think, if you kind of are having a hard time like visualizing, conceptualizing the sex trafficking ring that Epstein was the fucking core of, just check this out.
Death, the secrets of Jeffrey Epstein remain tightly guarded. But earlier this year, I spearheaded a Wired investigation that uncovered the data of almost 200 mobile phones belonging to visitors to his infamous pedophile island. The data was so precise, we were able to map the paths of these visitors to within centimeters, including their neighborhoods, buildings of origins, and the paths they took to get to the island. These digital trails document the numerous trips of wealthy and influential individuals seemingly undeterred by Epstein's status as a convicted sex offender. Wired's analysis of the data is ongoing, and it raises profound questions about privacy and surveillance. This is Epstein Island's secret data on the grid. This is Little St. James, aka Epstein Island. These red dots on the map represent some of the 11,279 coordinates I obtained. They were left exposed online by a location data broker with ties to the Defense Department called Near Intelligence.
Morgan, you see, that's a knowing laugh.
Oh.
Do you know something about Near? Or
not in specific, but just like I know about cell phone and tracking data, and like, for instance, rule 1, if you're going to go do a protest these days, rule 1 is turn your fucking phone off.
Yeah.
Or leave your fucking phone at home. And these guys doing sex crimes on Sex Crime Island.
I mean, yes, RXV, I believe that there are probably many, many people who had nothing to do with sex crimes who flew on a plane with Epstein, met with Epstein, maybe even multiple times, because that's the guy. Not 100% of his activities were that. The capitalist activities that he did were done almost, to gain power and wealth, so he could do this. So he had to keep a level of, there had to be a layer of not PDF files around him in order to go as long as he did.
Well, you look at the career of someone like Alan Dershowitz, who used to be a respected lawyer, Harvard professor, who, when it came out he was pals with Epstein, he fled to Trump land, right? Like, he got in bed with Trump and helped the Trump White House and all of his defense stuff after he was out, because his career was ruined.
Yep.
So, like, the amount of, like, how much ignorance someone can claim, like, yes, in order for a person like Epstein to be in the position he was, there had to be a lot of people in his orbit who were ignorant. But that's 11,000 cell phones on his sketchy-ass island. Though, as an aside, this is a Wired report, and Wired has done some excellent journalism in the last 7 months. If you have the money, I recommend giving them a subscription.
My favorite. Sorry, go ahead.
What's his nuts? Jeff Bezos says he wants to try and buy the company that owns Wired because of all of the. Well, he's not saying it's all of the reporting they're doing, but you can read between the lines.
Yeah. And the point I want to drive home is a lot of these academics and intellectuals who were engaged in what would otherwise be considered innocent behavior with Jeffrey Epstein did it after he was convicted of child sex trafficking.
Right.
And either gave him money or accepted money from him to do things, knowing, or they should have known anyway, that doing so would probably further his criminal activities.
So check this out. There is a big difference between people who hung out with Epstein and their potential culpability prior to 2008 and those who did after, which is odd, because you guess who that puts outside the sphere of immediate culpability? Trump.
Yeah.
Because apparently, based on all evidence, and this was in this, there's no evidence that he did hang out with Epstein post his little slap on the wrist first conviction.
Though the attorney who gave Epstein the real sweetheart deal ended up in the first Trump administration in a pretty prominent role.
Yeah, he was Trump's labor secretary.
Yep.
Which is, kind of interesting.
It's telling.
It is. I mean, that doesn't mean that's only to say that Trump maybe was potentially smart enough just not to do it publicly.
Yeah.
But I mean, and so anybody could, it could have been before or after. Anybody could be culpable for this kind of shit. But like doing it after is just at the very least having a fucking lack of optical awareness that or ethical consideration that like you deserve to be fucking investigated, even if it turns out you didn't do shit, because you're just kind of an idiot for hanging out with that guy after that. You know what I mean? Like,
and a lot of people who hung around with that guy, even if they had some level of plausible deniability in that relationship with Epstein, turned out to be sex pests in their everyday life. I'm thinking of people like Lawrence Krauss, who again has fled into that like anti-DEI camp that's pushed a lot of pseudoscience the last few years, in part because academia drove him out for being a sex pest, independently of him associating with Jeffrey Epstein and swearing up and down that Epstein only ever interacted with adults on his sketchy ass private island.
So, Sean, thank you once again for being a channel member. You can become a channel member down below, and I'll respond to all the comments and stuff. But no, like this is a question that you can ask, but until there's some evidence that anything trying to answer that question is simply speculation, because there's crazy conspiracy theories like he was working for the Mossad, and shit like that. There's no evidence of that as far as I know.
The lawyer Morgan referred to earlier, who became Trump's labor secretary, is on record saying that he was told as one of Epstein's defense attorney. I don't know if he was a defense.
No,
he was a defense attorney, or he was the prosecutor. Okay.
Right. If you watch the recent legal video,
was told.
Sorry.
That guy Acosta says that he was told that Epstein belonged to the intelligence community and to back off of him. And then when he was in the Trump administration, was asked about it in a press conference about that rumor, he gave a non-answer and did not deny it. So there's some circumstantial evidence that Epstein was involved in the intelligence community.
But that might not mean that he answers to someone. It might be that he's an informant because he has all of these business connections.
Which, that you see that throughout the history of organized crime investigations and stuff like that. It happens in movies and shows because it really does happen, where like one agency is trying to fucking bust somebody, and then the higher agency is like, nah, you got to leave them alone because they're one of our fucking informants. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That does happen. But like, if you watch the Legal Eagle video on this from just the other day, it is comprehensive and obviously from a legal perspective, and it goes into how fucking crazy that original slap on the wrist that he got was, because it's the prosecution seemed to be working more in his favor than the defense was. It's fucking insane to like that they were just like, they lie. There's a law in Florida that was it New York or Florida? I forget. Florida, right? Yeah. That victims of crimes like this must be notified before any kind of changing is in sentences, before any kind of plea deals are given or offered or anything like that. They went ahead and offered this guy this fucking sweetheart deal that basically allowed him to only report to jail at night.
Yeah.
And just sleep. It was basically like bunking in jail every night. Otherwise, he was out to do whatever the fuck he wanted during the day. And they didn't inform the victims until months later when they said they were still trying to work out a plea deal.
Yeah.
This is the prosecution.
That's prosecution.
Insane. Like, this guy has something on somebody. Like, I don't know if it's just money. It can't just be that, right? Because they've taken down guys with, fucking big bags of money in their bank without this kind of.
This guy owned a private island of money, right? He has blackmail money. He has threat money, or had.
He doesn't have shit now.
Is the Wired video we're watching right now one where they mention that there's a few thousand bank accounts associated with this case that were never investigated after the Sweetheart deal?
I don't know if I don't think so, but I'm sure if that was something that's probably mentioned in the Legal Eagle video. There's a lot of information in that video. This, however, one thing I was going to point out that's kind of just an aside, but relevant, is they basically, the guy says, I mean, I'm kind of paraphrasing for comedy's sake, but he basically says, it's fucked up that we're able to do this investigation. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, he's saying, we're fucking crazy. Like, we shouldn't be able to fucking track all this. This is not good, but we did it.
Yeah.
So, because,
I think this is an argument.
Data laws versus ours. It's yikes.
This is a case where there's an argument to be made that at least some people should be able to do this.
Yes.
Because otherwise we wouldn't catch these fuckers doing this kind of crap.
Right.
And this video, by the way, also means that Wired knows who all of these people are.
They specifically say that they're not going to name any names in the video because they just don't want to, you know, that's really fucking iffy territory as a legal entity if you start throwing names out like that. But they got a list.
Especially because you don't know what they did or saw. So it's the implication of association.
If there is a legitimate, sincere investigation into this shit at some point, then they will, whoever the investigative body is, will almost certainly reach out to Wired. If they can't get information directly from NEAR or whatever, then
they would subpoena NEAR for that information.
Right. And so the fact that there's
just see what they figured out. But man, this is top level shit, top level fucking crimes, and top level, you know. I say it a lot. I don't love saying the word, but man, this is just evil. Like the shit that these guys were getting up to, Epstein. And I'm going to go ahead and say that I'm fairly certain that Trump was doing something. The reports from somebody mentioned 10 years ago. There's the Jane Doe. There's the what's her name, Katie Johnson claims. It's too much, man. It's too much to fucking just think that for that long somebody's been specifically trying to nail Trump on this one very specific type of thing. There's got to be something to it.
Right. Well, just think about the E. Jean Carroll case. He's an adjudicated sex criminal.
As well as all kinds of
it's not a criminal offense, true, but a jury of his peers found that by the preponderance of the evidence, he sexually assaulted that woman.
In a civil sense, he is a sexual assaulter, yes.
Right.
And I mean, by his own admission, he is that. Grab her by the pussy thing, right?
Right.
All right, let's just see what else it says here. We won't watch the whole thing, but
between 2016 and Epstein's final arrest in 2019, NEAR collected data on more than 200 cell phones that visited the island. We don't know why they did that or which client or prospective client of NEAR decided to query the data in this way to produce the maps. But the maps you'll see in this video show where visitors to Epstein Island spent most of their time.
Maps of maps, guys. Maps of maps.
I love maps.
Let's take a step back. You might be wondering, where is Epstein Island anyways? Well, it's here. Little St. James is a private island.
Now it's in hell. If there's a hell.
That is part of the U.S. Virgin Islands, an unincorporated.
That's irony. Irony. He probably chose it for the irony. You know?
That would not surprise me.
Territory of the United States in the Caribbean Sea. Epstein purchased Little St. James in 1998 for $7.95 million. It's about 71 acres, the size of 54 football fields. He made the island his primary residence and soon after began welcoming visitors and throwing infamous parties where he was accused of having groomed, sexually assaulted, and trafficked untold numbers of women and girls. The maps of the data collected by NEAR, and which we at Wired recreated here,
a fucking shame trail. There should be shame trail, but they probably don't feel anything.
Indicate the most visited spots on the island. From the main house here with the pool, to the beaches and the large sundial, it's all on display, including the enigmatic Hilltop Temple site over here, which has been the focal point in speculations about Epstein's mysterious activities on the island. But the tracking of phones wasn't contained to Little St. James.
Okay. All right. So there is like having an evil island, right? Like, if you gave me crazy billionaire money, I'm building an evil lair tomorrow, right? We're breaking ground right away. We're not stopping.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But your evil lair island has a fucking temple on it? Bro, come on.
That's where they worship the owl. The owl from the Bohemian Grove. That's where they do that on the island.
Dude, but like Bohemian Grove is such a joke compared to the
I
shit.
know.
Like, fucking Alex Jones acting like Bohemian Grove is something more than just a bunch of fucking like. There's probably some fucking monsters mixed in with those rich people, but for the most part, from what I understand, that's just a silly fucking rich people gathering where they act silly and talk about how they fucking I don't know. I don't know.
It's a frat house for old guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They sit around in their fucking towels or not in the fucking steam room, just like, wrinkled little fucking dicks and stuff hanging out. Good times.
Surveillance continued long after the...
In other words, all right. Okay.
The data reveals the locations of visitors 30 minutes before and after arriving on the island, which shows us the exact routes everyone took to get there. Some landed here, at the Cyril E. King Airport on neighboring St. Thomas Island. With its private jet and VIP terminals, it was the go-to hub for Epstein's 200-seater Boeing 727 plane dubbed Lolita Express. We see data points clustered at various area beaches, hotels.
Did he name it that? He named it that?
He named yeah.
The whole thing is
yeah. No,
this makes me want to shower. I'm going to take a shower after this stream.
I just had one, and I'm thinking about just
You're
like
already
taking
yeah.
And luxury resorts, including the Ritz-Carlton Hotel here. To get to Epstein's Island, many visitors got on a boat at a designated dock at the American Yacht Harbor, a private marina on St. Thomas co-owned by Epstein at the time. From there, we see a flow of movement through Great St. James Island, the larger island just to the north, which Epstein purchased in 2016 for $22 million. He had hoped to develop it, but was met with legal challenges after damaging the island's coral reefs and protected habitats.
Dude was graping a virgin island,
You violated a virgin island. That two virgin island. I'm gonna be sick.
The data then traces visitors' movements as they are ferried to Epstein's private dock on Little St. James. Epstein also had a helipad on the island and owned at least one helicopter, a Sikorsky S-76, which he used often to transport himself, guests, and victims from the airport or elsewhere, according to legal documents and testimony. It's worth noting that the data reveals a regular flow of traffic to and from Little St. James between 2016 and 2019. A lot of people were visiting.
I mean, he's rolling in his grave because he didn't get to go to that island, probably.
No. Look, I don't know much about Nabokov, but if you've actually read Lolita, which I had to do for a literature class, the opening of that book makes it very clear that the entire story is told through the point of view of an unreliable narrator. Basically, the narrator of the book is lying to you about everything that happened. And you're supposed to remember that as you read it. But this is a great example of
novels. I guess I can understand that.
Yeah, this is a great example of rich guys wanting to build the Torment
Nexus,
Matrix. The Torment Nexus.
Wait, you actually built the Torment Nexus?
Visiting the island even after Epstein had pleaded guilty in 2008 and served jail time for procuring a minor for prostitution. If we keep following the data trail and we widen our view, we'll see that the tracking of visitors continues once they have left the island and presumably gone back home. The near intelligence data we uncovered pinpoints 166 locations throughout the United States in 80 cities across 26 states. Topping the list were Florida, Massachusetts, Texas, Michigan, and New York. The data points are...
Florida is the least surprising one to be.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's not even
evenly split between blue and red states. It looks like.
Too, yeah.
Labeled as common evening locations or common daytime locations, typically their homes or work. Many of the visitors were likely wealthy, as indicated by coordinates pointing to gated communities in Michigan, as well as homes in Martha's Vineyard and Nantucket in Massachusetts. We even have data points.
That's blue shit, man.
Yeah. Rich people like rich people aren't red or blue; they're green.
That's it.
From a downtown Miami nightclub, and also the sidewalk across the street from Trump Tower in New York City. Before we jump to conclusions, some sources have highlighted interactions between Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein at social events. But after Epstein's 2008 conviction, there are no verified reports of Trump maintaining a relationship with a convicted pedophile. Take a look at this point over here in New Mexico. This is a property that was owned by Epstein,
no reports, confirmed reports, does not mean didn't happen. Just clarify.
That means that someone was a smart criminal.
It also does not mean that he wasn't involved financially.
Right.
Or that he didn't do things before 2008 that
lest we
don't have a statute of limitations.
Lest we need to read the thing again. Come on.
Yep.
Included 8,000-acre ranch. Another property.
I was just going to say, nothing has done more to convince me that there is something to this than Trump's behavior in the last 2 weeks or so.
That even that thing on its own, that bit of birthday crap, would be really gross and lean me strongly. But his behavior, more than anything, it's
how
just
he's reacted to all of it is very telling.
If you've got kids, or you've ever seen kids that you know they've done something that they shouldn't have done, and they're trying to fucking get out of it, this is
Of Epstein's is seen over here on El Brio Way in Palm Beach, Florida. This waterfront mansion was sold, demolished, and is now being rebuilt. But it was where prosecutors claimed Epstein trafficked numerous underage girls with the intention of molesting and abusing them. But we don't just see the coordinates of wealthy homes amongst the data. The median household income of Palm Beach is more than twice that of nearby communities where we also see data points. Some of these points could represent victims or employees who worked on the island, which is why we're careful about revealing names and continue to carefully analyze the data.
So there you go. This is a little bit of just, visual context to understand that this is a thing that did happen. Epstein did fly a lot of people in and out there. You got an idea where those people come from, where they go to. Not a whole lot of details on exactly who they are. And, like he was just saying, could be victims in some cases. Probably almost certainly in the lower middle class regions. But
right. I mean, to run a place like that, you need staff. And you're not going to find that staff in the Virgin Islands, right? You need a lot of people to run a private island. It's not an easy endeavor.
And the existence of this Wired report, I think, is a big part of the reason why Trump is freaking out, because it means that there is at least one third party who knows everything that is not connected to anyone he has sued or has any influence over.
Right.
Probably, I suspect it's Ghislaine Maxwell personally.
Possibly.
Because according to the sweetheart deal that Epstein got, she should not have gotten prosecuted in any way. But she was. And if the official story from the executive branch and the Justice Department now is that there is no list and there's nothing to this, then why is she in jail? Because that was the entire basis of the prosecution against her.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's underreported thing about that sweetheart deal is the immunity for any current and future suspects involved in his goings on.
Yeah,
that they would not be prosecuted. So I mean, I don't know what they did to kind of get around that with her, but I mean, obviously, it's a fucking bullshit stipulation anyway. Yeah. So here we are. We've got a lame duck, essentially, president who still actually has quite a bit of power, considering he could launch a fucking strike again. He could. There's any number of things he can still do.
Right.
Lame duck doesn't really apply whenever you don't give a fuck about consequences.
Well, and when you're ruling by executive order anyways, right? Congress doesn't do anything, especially now that the bill is passed. And that's the one bill they're going to pass this year. They're going to have a fight over the debt limit at some point.
Are they?
More than likely.
I mean, they'll
probably
just down and blame it on the Dems. You know?
Well, of course they're going to blame it on the Dems. They still have to pass something.
Yeah, part of the point of the big, beautiful bill was to do an entire year's worth of legislative agenda in one vote, so they can all just go collect money from lobbyists for the rest of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And fucking, do whatever crazy Republican shit, Look, pedocon fact goes all the way to the top.
Yeah.
It's
the theory
goes all the way to 3 and beyond.
And it's not just pedo-cons either. It's pedo-libs as well.
Yeah.
But probably mostly cons.
Pedo power.
Mostly cons.
Wait, that sounds wrong. People in power that are pedo. Never mind. I'll come up with something better. It sounds like I'm going pedo power. Sorry.
That's gonna get clipped.
No, yeah. Fuck you. Whoever clips it, fuck you. Unless it just brings me lots of views, I'll take it. I don't care. So, do we want to move into the other topic, or do we have time for another quick thing I'd like to point at?
We got a few minutes.
Are you guys aware of the comedian Theo Von?
No.
Yes, although I've never heard his comedy.
He's not that funny.
I don't know what makes him a comedian.
Oh boy.
He did have Donald Trump on his podcast during the campaign, and he's one of the handful of pretty prominent podcasters that Trump went on there. Theo Von has a honestly likable persona of being just kind of like this kind of redneck guy from Louisiana. Man, he's got like a bad kind of redneck haircut. He talks about how he grew up poor and all this stuff. And he was on Road Rules years ago. That was his first claim to fame. He was on the MTV show Road Rules, where, well, we can get into it, but like he's just kind of known as being kind of a bit of a dipshit. And I'll admit to admire, like, finding him charming, even if I didn't think his comedy was that great. I thought his personality was kind of charming. Whether or not he's actually an idiot or it's a bit of a put on, I never could really tell. I think I have a good idea now. But more recently, since he's one of the largest comedy he's in the Rogan sphere, but not really, because he kind of broke out of it around the same time. Like what was it? Couple of guys involved with Rogan were getting accused of stuff. I forget the guy's name. They're both terrible as well. Getting accused of some stuff from girls or whatever, and so he kind of broke free of all that shit. And he's got his own thing going now, his own podcast and whatnot. But he's fairly prominent, and people like him. So with that in mind, check this out.
Waits with David Duke. I told you guys that, right?
No.
Yeah, David Duke and I.
Was he a nice guy when he wasn't doing his thing? I'll say this. That's interesting.
We shared a back fence, and he would help me lift weights sometimes. And then sometimes I'd buzz over there to the gym with him, dude, right over to the gym with him.
He's spotting you. David Duke's is spotting you on the bench press. Was he already David Duke at this point?
Yeah, this is probably 20 years ago.
How would you know him? Was he spewing any of that stuff when he was lifting
chilling,
weights?
dude? He was talking chest and tries, baby. That was
chest and tries.
So there's Theo Von. Theo Von is not his full legal name. Von, V-O-N, is what he goes by. There's a lot more to his last name than just that part, though.
All right, so for this video, I wanted to talk to you guys about Theodore Capitani von Kernatowski III, aka Theo Von.
Heard you got deported, dude. Bye.
For years, Theo has had this squeaky clean image. The guy who grew up broke in Louisiana, fought his way up through reality TV, and somehow turned that into a massive comedy career. Lately though, things have started to shift. Over the past couple of years, he's gone from just doing funny podcasts to hanging out with serious political figures in the upper echelon of the elite. Like, almost out of the blue, he's doing sets for the Trump family in Qatar, eating dinner with Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner, and sitting down with high-profile guests that most podcasters would only dream of having access to. Which raises the question, who is Theo Von really? So I started digging into Theo Von's background, and what I found paints a picture that's a lot more complicated than just a poor southern kid who made it big. So let's just start with his upbringing. Theo loves to tell the story about growing up in Louisiana with an older dad, and how his life was just one big struggle.
Wait, how far? Like, how poor did you grow up? Would you say
poor? We grew up poor, man. I mean, I think our rent was $150 a month. Single mom, toilet hanging through the ceiling.
So your dad passed away.
See, the thing that's always kind of thrown me off, that's like thrown off my gauge of how dumb he actually is that he speaks very fast. And that's not to say all dumb people speak slow, but he speaks fast, almost with an eloquence, while sounding kind of dumb at the same time. And I think that's kind of fucked my gauge up over the years. And I was never really able to pinpoint, but now my gauge is I think in the right direction.
So let me guess where this is going. This is going to tell us that he didn't actually grow up poor, right?
Well, not as poor as he likes to say, but it's kind of tricky because his dad is old. His dad died when he was like 16. He's about to talk about all this in this clip, but this channel is Podcast Cringe, I believe, for Podcast Cringe Bites. He is pretty good. It's a pretty good channel. I mean, he covers a lot of this Rogan stuff. He's very critical of the Rogan guys and all that, the garbage they say. He's been critical talking about this Epstein stuff and making fun of Andrew Schultz and his backtrack and shit. However, he comes down a little bit softer on his final judgment of Theo Von than I will. But
yeah. Spoilers.
Dad passed away when I was 16. He was old, but he just didn't have any money.
He's talked about not having money, not having opportunities, and trying to make it out of a small, poor neighborhood.
People would look at me, you know, the bus dropped me off like in the poor neighborhood, and my dad was so old and my mom was always gone working. She wasn't like a mom some of the other kids had. So the only thing I could control was me.
What strikes me about that is like, that's kind of what my upbringing was. And it's like, I don't think it's that uncommon, but he talks about it as if it is.
Right.
Yeah, that was sort of my upbringing too.
And you see, there is some truth to that story, because by most standards, Theo was not rich. But the way he tells it sometimes makes it sound like he was living in extreme poverty. This doesn't really make sense.
I'll be right back, so if you need to pause it, Morgan, go ahead.
Sure.
Though when you realize that Theo's family had heavy connections. Like according to some reports, Theo's father was deeply involved in politics at different levels. He was reportedly connected to the Un-American Activities Committee and maintained relationships with U.S. senators, including J. Bennett Johnson, who served as an honorary chairman of his foundation. So look, I'm not saying Theo grew up in a mansion with servants, but if your dad is rubbing shoulders with senators and chairing committees, you're probably not living the exact same experience as the kid whose family is truly broke. So in my opinion, I believe Theo was likely middle class for Louisiana standards, which is lower middle class compared to the rest of the country, but definitely not the dirt poor image he's manufactured over the years. This story of his also doesn't really...
Yeah, sure.
Oh, maybe the video is about to mention this, but the time frame for David Duke that Theo Von mentioned before was 20 years ago. And by that point, David Duke was already well known as a white supremacist. He got famous in the 1980s and 1990s for this.
Right.
So for Theo Von to pretend like he didn't know at the time.
He was the Grand Wizard or Grand Dragon or whatever in the 70s.
Right.
Yeah.
So that, like, he didn't start trying to do legit politics until the 80s. But yeah.
Like, I guess, like, if you're completely ignorant, but now he clearly knows and is not bothered by the fact that David Duke was, in fact, David Duke.
Well, he talks about it in a way that, like, you know, I mean, look, I lived in really low class Louisiana for a few years. I definitely hung out with some fucking racist pieces of shit. You know, it just, if one of them happened to end up being somebody famous, and then I would probably tell that story as if like I didn't fully understand, because I didn't, or I wouldn't have. I would have been like, yeah, I knew they were racist, but I didn't think, you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't have had a developed ethical framework yet to really be like, fuck you, I'm not hanging out with you because you got a fucking Confederate flag on your wall. I knew like 3 or 4 people that did, by the way.
Right. But the way Theo Von talks about it after the fact is what is
almost
really
like
problematic here, because he was asked directly, wait, was David Duke at the time that you hung out with him? And his answer was, oh, he was just chill, man.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I knew who he was, but like he didn't talk about that stuff, so that's okay with me, kind of thing. Like, as long as he didn't talk about it, I can hang out with one of the most well-known current, like, fucking virulent racists in the world. Like,
Right. It's the whole ethic of this podcast bro community seems to be, if someone is nice to me personally, they can't possibly be a bad person.
Sure. I think another part of it is that, like, the podcast bro sphere has a tendency to believe the last thing they heard from someone who was nice to them.
Yeah.
Which is why you have Joe Rogan, who flip-flops all the time, right? Is because someone talked nicely about him to him and then said something, and now that is what Joe Rogan believes until someone else says something contradictory, and then he will flip on the dime.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Like,
David Duke is the villain of America, right?
I mean, he was. Like, honestly, we could go back to that, and I'd be happier, because, like, at least that time people knew that the KKK was bad, and we can't let this guy get too much power, right?
Right.
He was endorsed by fucking Bush Senior. Somebody pointed that earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Line up when you find out that Theo shared a backyard fence with David Duke.
That's another thing. David Duke, I'm fairly confident, is not a poor man.
No.
So sharing a backyard fence with him seems kind of sus.
You probably aren't that poor.
Yeah, and he goes into that. So.
Was the former Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan and a Louisiana state representative. And Theo's admitted multiple times that David Duke was his neighbor when he was a teenager. In fact, Theo says that Duke often took Theo to the gym to work out together when he was around 15.
Dangerous to say no.
Dude, I used to work out with David Duke when I was growing up.
Holy shit.
We shared a back fence when I was growing up.
Holy shit.
Take a sip.
And we used to go to... I mean, that's kind of, I don't know if you consider the Ku Klux Klan a pyramid scheme or not, but we used to go to the gym.
Consider it worse than that?
Yeah, I mean, it's also a pyramid scheme on top of everything else.
That's not the first thing I'd call it, bud.
No, there's a lot of other things I would call it before I brought up the fact that it is also a pyramid scheme, but
seems like pyramid schemes and hate groups just kind of go hand in hand, right?
It
like
really,
always...
it's peanut butter and chocolate.
Being a pyramid scheme is the least objectionable thing about them.
It really is.
And I'll tell you this, man, he was, I don't believe in his practices, but he...
I mean, like, Avon's fucking conspiracy. I mean, it's a fucking pyramid scheme, but you don't hear me lumping that in with fucking the KKK, right?
Right.
Yeah.
It has broken many families, though, Avon. We should maybe look into that. I don't know if that fits.
And Amway as well.
Really...
They fucked a lot of people over. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was elected to Louisiana House of Representatives in 1989, and that year, the sitting representative resigned his seat to become a judge.
And when Theo first shared this on podcasts, a lot of people thought he was joking. But this year, David Duke himself confirmed that story is real during an appearance on Jake Shields' podcast, saying that he remembered Theo and even appreciated something Theo said about him on Joe Rogan's show.
Yeah, before we get in, I ran into your old friend Theo Vaughn a few weeks ago. Great guy, man. Such a good guy. I talked to him for like half an hour.
I think Theo Vaughn's a great guy. Yeah, I've actually... he wanted to work out. He was the next door neighbor.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, he was practically in my backyard.
Yeah, they made, Cutco Knives makes fucking real knives too, but I fucking got scammed for like $600 from those motherfuckers when I was 17 years old. I was going to become a knife salesman. So, fuck them.
Okay, so I want to point out that Jake Shields is a racist.
Yeah,
I think he was because he's on with David Duke.
I don't need to know anything else about you. You have David Duke on your fucking podcast, and you're not saying, you fucking piece of shit, why are you such a garbage person? Then you're
right.
If David Duke called to get on this show for some insane reason, I would hang up the phone.
Yeah. So you just have Jake Shields, a known white supremacist, talking with David Duke, the white supremacist of white supremacists of a certain generation, casually talking about the fact that he ran into Theo Vaughn the other day and he's really nice. So
yeah, I think he is.
Theo Vaughn is obviously somebody for whom none of this is a deal breaker.
Right.
At the very least.
I mean, yeah, I will say, Morgan, that if we had advanced knowledge that David Duke wanted to be on this show, I think that we would have a discussion about maybe some shenanigans that we might pull on him. And it would be a recorded thing, not live. We'd record a conversation. Then we might consider talking to the guy, but it would be purely to fucking roast his ass and have a lot of fun at his expense.
Right. Okay. I would allow that. Sure.
That's just a little asterisk I want to add there. That's all.
And
yeah. The only justification for having someone like this on your platform is to humiliate them.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Like my age.
Like, why does it feel to be the only guy in modern American history to be to basically win an election and then lose the runoff just because you're a racist piece of shit? Like, is that a good feeling? Do you feel? I mean, you're number one, right?
Even when he was just a young kid, and
ask Andrew
wanted to
Cuomo
work
in a
out, and I was very happy to because I love to teach and share, and I used to train people, and
he just seems like a frail bitch. Look at him.
Yeah.
Talking about taking a teenage boy working out and shit. I mean, I know that is something that can happen innocently, but like, I don't know. It just seems weird anyway.
I was really super fit. And so I used to take him to our gym, Franco's, and I trained him and he got in shape. And
so that story.
What did he train him in? That's the question. Theo Vaughn actually has said a couple of things over the years that kind of, we'll see.
Is now fact. Theo was neighbors with David Duke, and they occasionally interacted. But Theo has always maintained that they never talked about race or the Klan, just fitness.
But he was nice. He was very friendly. I could see how people could give into, or
he was charismatic.
charming.
Well, he had the charisma.
He was
huh?
charismatic, and he was tall.
Was he spewing any of that stuff when
He was
lifting
chilling,
weights?
dude. He was talking chest and tries, baby. That was
Chest
it.
and tries.
You know?
Keeping it real.
Yeah.
Lats.
Yeah, lat
All
pull
of
down.
the news and just to be
programs
clear
that
here,
David
I am
Duke
not
was on.
accusing Theo of secretly being a member of the KKK or sharing their beliefs. The question that naturally comes up, though, is whether being around someone like David Duke as a teenager might have shaped Theo's worldview. It's a fair question, because just a few years after those workouts, Theo faced his first controversy after he made a racist comment on MTV's Road Rules, saying he didn't believe in interracial dating. And when he said this, he was completely serious. He even defended it in his local college newspaper at LSU. But with that being said, this was a long time ago, and people grow and change. Theo's comedy today is very different from that comment. But when you look back, there are patterns about Theo's comedy worth considering, especially after learning about his environment growing up. One example of this was during his second ever appearance on Tiger
This is a big oof.
Belly, where he joked that slavery never existed because they never found the boats.
No, dude. No, not Palm. No, bro. I don't believe in Vietnam. I don't believe in
It
a lot of
happened.
war. Huh?
It's
I'm not saying it
conspiracy.
didn't happen, dude.
Are you those?
They never found the boats, dude. You
Oh,
know?
right.
It's just
I
like
think it's a
slavery. They never
conspiracy
found the
too, yeah.
boats.
And now, in context, it's a joke. But it's also eerily similar to a real conspiracy theory used by white supremacist groups to deny the transatlantic slave trade. Does that mean that Theo believes that? Probably not. He jokes about a lot of stuff, and pushing boundaries is a part of comedy. But when you layer that on top of the David Duke connection and the early comments about interracial dating, you start to wonder where some of these ideas originated, or at least where he got comfortable joking about them. Again, to be absolutely clear, there is no evidence that Theo is spreading propaganda or involved in hate groups.
I mean, I make an argument that he
What?
is spreading propaganda.
He's definitely spreading propaganda. If
Yeah.
your goal here, Dane, was to convince us that Theo Von is a piece of shit, you have succeeded.
Yeah, mission accomplished. Good work,
Moving on.
buddy.
Now, we'd like to take you to a different sort of thing here that kind of veers back into the what actual fandom generally does, aside from the Fapcast, but kind of merges these two things. It's a marriage, you might say.
Marriage.
I've got this
Marriage
intro.
brings us together today.
I've got an intro here to tell you to show you what this is about. Sorry, I'm sorry, that's the wrong thing. My bad. Sorry, uploaded thing. Nope, that's not it. Sorry. Okay, this one.
Stop.
On your left. On my left. Got it.
On your left, a new segment, maybe a new show if you guys like it enough. Hey, if you like
Yeah,
it
hopefully.
enough, it could be a whole new fucking channel. So let us know if you like this shit. So the idea is to go back and look through, at first, like kind of MCU and comic book movies in general, and just look at the politics of the movie itself, look at the politics of the time that the film was created, kind of how those two, either interact or don't. And then, eventually I'm sure we might move on to other stuff like Star Wars or Dune and stuff like that. And just like kind of compare the in-universe lore politics to, IRL politics and just have a discussion about it. So this first one, we're going to talk about Superman 2025 and Iron Man 2008, because having started the MCU with my son recently, watched Iron Man, and then, not too long later watched Superman, and I noticed like, oh, there's something in common here. And it's kind of bizarre because obviously the big thing with Superman, one of the big things that especially that Chuds are upset about is that it takes such a specifically geopolitical view of conflict, a specific conflict that somewhat resembles a couple of real life conflicts, maybe.
Just a teeny tiny little
Yeah,
bit.
A little bit.
The central plot of Superman, and I don't think this is a spoiler, it's in the trailer. If you haven't seen it, go see it. What are you doing?
Go see Superman.
Yeah, we should say there probably will be spoilers for Superman in this discussion.
There will be.
And Iron Man.
Yeah, if you haven't seen that
No,
yet, I don't
Iron
know.
Man's been around for like 15
You don't like
years.
superhero movies if you haven't seen Iron Man. Come on.
Right. Yeah. Let's be real.
But so in Superman, he before the movie even starts, he has flown into a foreign nation and essentially kind of tortured and like intimidated the leader of that nation to not do the fucking invasion of the poor, basically defenseless nation that he's trying to do. And that is the central through line through the whole movie, which comes to fruition at the end. And we'll get into how that plays out. But watching Iron Man does that too, in a way. Iron Man, one of his first act, really, once he builds his new armor, he gets back home, as a reminder for anybody who forgot, he gets taken captive after getting, injured by one of his own weapons in Afghanistan. He gets taken captive by the fictional terrorist group, the Ten Rings. And then they try to ransom him. But instead, him and another guy that's captive, Yinsen, build, first of all, the arc reactor that's going to keep the shrapnel out of his heart, but it also powers the first Iron Man armor, which he then uses to just utterly annihilate everybody in this camp, as well as all the weapons of his that they've fucking collected and stolen. Gets the fuck out of there. Then he gets home, and then he hears that from Christine Everhart, the reporter, that the very same village that Yinsen, who tragically died and inspired Iron Man to be a better man on the way out of the cave there, that the village he's from, that his family, well, his family's gone now that I remember, but that's the village he's from, Gulmira, is currently being taken over and terrorized by the Ten Rings. And Iron Man says, fuck this. And he fucking, for the first time, puts on the full, Mark II armor, and he flies over into Afghanistan, and we can take a look at what happens here.
He fucks some shit up.
No words, just starts fucking people up.
Just starts rolling on guys.
And if first time you see it, probably even seeing it now, it's a big like fuck yeah moment. Because I mean, political context aside, these are assholes that are bullying fucking families, right?
Right.
That's how you want to look at it. You can look at it that way, and it's totally valid. But on a more broad, level, this is an agent, an independent agent that is not acting on behalf of his country or anything. He's acting on behalf of himself, and he's going to fuck this shit up and fuck these guys up and save these people, as Superman does before Superman even starts. So these two things are in common, but the difference is what? Anybody want to go?
Well, there's a lot of differences. We could start with the fact that for Tony Stark, it's a personal connection.
Yeah.
And for
which
Superman,
is very much in line with the era, right? Because 9/11, personal vendetta against these motherfuckers. Fuck you. You did this to something I care about.
Yeah.
Not, whereas Superman, go ahead. Sorry.
For Superman, it's a matter of principle. War is wrong, and mass murder is wrong. So he's going to stop it. Doesn't matter what the people who are being targeted did, or what kind of people they are, or what his relationship to them is.
Iron Man is in the right, but it's only just kind of accidentally, basically.
Yeah. And the second big difference I noticed anyway, is that in Iron Man, the people he's attacking are not nominal allies of the United States. Whereas in Superman, the people he stops are allies of the United States.
True.
Yeah, it's a big part of the rest of the plot of the movie.
Yeah.
And then, to extend outside of these individual movies, past this movie, there's a line in the beginning of Iron Man 2 where he says, I've privatized world peace. Okay, great. Show us that. No, you're not going to. Okay, we're not going to see any of that. You just said it. Okay. But Superman, it seems like, is setting up a status quo that will continue on, where we will see more, hopefully, of the ramifications of this dynamic of a superhero who's not acting on behalf of a state, but nonetheless interfering with states' conflicts overseas.
Right. Because spoiler alert, spoilers for Superman. At the end of the movie, it's like the same country invades Boravia, the country he stopped, invades the neighboring country, Jarhanpur, and begins to carry out its genocide. And it is not Superman who stops them. It's the Justice Gang because they've been inspired by Superman. And that's another big difference between these two starts of cinematic universes here.
Yep. And I want to kind of just play a little bit of devil's advocate here. Is it kind of a cop-out in Superman that they don't show the original thing? Do you think that we would probably I feel like we would view Superman differently if the opening scene was him grabbing the fucking leader and putting him up against a cactus and, you know, wagging his finger at him, right? Like that would be a totally different opening scene to this new Superman, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be for sure.
I don't think it's a cop-out though, because at least not a narrative cop-out.
Sure.
But because we don't really need to see that to understand the story, and he does get called on it by Lois Lane.
Script structure wise, it's pretty flawless. I think it opens on the scenes it needs to open on. Yeah. But like, yeah, she calls it out. He describes, you know, they describe exactly what he did. And in the moment, in the watching, I was like, holy shit, Superman. You know, I mean, like, even though he didn't do anything to really damage him, that's a bold ass move for a head of a state to, you know, like do that to a head of a state.
Yeah. And the Superman, one of the final scenes in Superman is Rick Flag Sr. and some Defense Department official having a conversation to the effect of, well, Rick Flag, what do you say now that the metahumans are deciding policy for us or have their own agenda or whatever it is, which did not happen in Iron Man. Iron Man just went back to whatever the status quo was before the movie began.
I would say it's even kind of worse
to.
than that. I'd say Iron Man, the MCU does cop out, because the next time that we see anything remotely related to the topic we're talking about is basically Avengers Age of Ultron. When we see that Stark just flies his fucking, you know, drones into Sokovia. Now he's doing the right thing. He's doing the good thing. He's doing the heroic thing. However, he is just some independent agent flying his drones into a country. You know, of course, he's cleaning up his own mess.
Right.
Which arguably he's doing in this as well. You know, I mean, that's exactly what, not even arguably, that's what he's doing.
That's what he's doing. Yeah, that's the premise of the movie.
But yeah, so then, and the only time that ever becomes an issue really is in Civil War, but kind of only tangentially, because it's not about the other countries getting mad at him, at the Avengers. It's about America getting mad at the Avengers, basically.
Well, and Wakanda in Civil War, because
sure. Well, I mean, that happened before Wakanda even, you know, Wakanda, before what's his name got blowed up. They were already doing the Sokovia Accords, so
they were already working on it. Yeah,
what did it? But yeah, you know, who knows? Maybe they won't veer so far into this territory in the next DCU film. Maybe they will. I hope they do. But I just thought it was really interesting, kind of dynamic, considering the politics at play in 2008 were very much still in, you know, the attitude towards the war was shifting for sure.
Right. We were at the point, because when this movie starts production, it's 2006, 2007, and but by and large, the American populace is done with this war. Like these wars,
the Iraq War for sure, but
especially the Iraq War.
And yet, the politics of the scene we're watching right now are essentially pro global war on terror.
Right. It is a pro U.S. interventionalist scene, where literally the human embodiment of the military industrial complex is doing an armed intervention. But in a way that, like, to put the nuance back into the scene, is that he is taking responsibility for that his company's weapons are being used by both sides of the war, and he's trying to stop that and take it into his own hands because he feels responsible that people are killing with things he's built.
Yeah. Which, you know, kind of takes us into, you know, where did the Taliban get their weapons, actually?
Well, yes, exactly. For those who don't know, the Taliban was once enemies with the USSR. Well, the thing that became the Taliban.
Yeah, the Mujahideen.
Mujahideen, yes. And they
you
were
watch Rambo 3, right?
Yeah.
3 is the Robin
Rambo
Hood
3 is Rambo 2 is somewhere in Southeast Asia, Laos.
Right. So it's a little bit of a misconception to say that the U.S. gave weapons directly to the Taliban. What we did was flood the zone of the Afghan resistance to the Soviet Union with our weapons
to fight the USSR that we didn't think about. What would happen maybe if eventually they don't like us anymore? Oh, they might shoot us with these. Gotcha.
Our goal was to turn Afghanistan into the Soviet version of the Vietnam War, into like an intractable, unwinnable, asymmetrical conflict. And downstream of that, after the Soviets left, there were all these American weapons floating around, and Soviet weapons.
And Soviet weapons too, yeah.
And the people who would become the Taliban got a hold of them and used them for terrible things.
Right.
Only if they explicitly state they're Nazis.
Yes.
Yeah. We'll talk more about that when we get to the Captain America films, I'm sure.
We'll get to that. Absolutely. So, if you like this segment, be sure to like this stream and leave a comment. Let us know that you like this segment and if you want to see more of conversations like this. And we will definitely do it because we love, movies. And more than we love movies, we love picking apart movies. Yeah, every frame a fucking pause, guys, or whatever. No.
Nope. We let the movie go. We don't need to pause every frame because that's not how stories work. Oh, wretch.
Tony gets a pass from folks because he's an industrial superhero, whereas Superman has been a long-standing symbol for the U.S. Yeah, I mean, Tony gets a pass because eventually he becomes the greatest hero in the world. Basically,
well,
you know what I mean?
I think the reason that Tony gets a pass from like the viewing audience is that nobody, like the general audience, didn't know who Iron Man was when this movie came out because he was a villain in the comics at the time, right? We're talking about the Civil War era where Tony is not a.
So this would be a great segment. Maybe I still probably should do a video on it actually, but it's a long one I've long had in the pipe. Comparing the criticisms of Wanda that she's gotten versus Tony, and just how it's sexism, guys. Because holy shit, this dude has killed so many people before we even meet him. He's responsible for so much death.
When we do the flashbacks, right? Because he gets blown up, and we get the flashbacks to like him getting the award, or rather, the award being accepted for him. That award was for being an arms manufacturer for the military.
Right. So he was a war criminal.
It kind of makes me appreciate the screenwriting of that first Iron Man movie because in a way he doesn't give a fuck about that award. So maybe he's already disconnecting from wanting to be known for that anyway. You know what I mean? He's like, he was born into it. Let's be real. He was born into it.
Sure.
That's not to say that he, has no agency. It's not to say that he had to continue on from the moment it was handed down to him, but he did until suddenly it affected him personally.
And that's another important difference here. The attitude towards billionaires in these two movies is very different as well.
Very different.
Because this Iron Man is from an era where people actually thought Elon Musk was smart, and that pop culture anyway equated being rich with being smart and exceptional. That it bought into the myth that rich people deserve what they have because they all worked hard or geniuses or whatever. And
we will definitely get into this with the details. I mean, there's political stuff to discuss in Iron Man 2 and 3.
Oh yeah.
So definitely we're gonna get there.
With what America felt about the rich, especially when it comes to like these tech billionaires that were media. I don't want to say media savvy, but were in the media. Your Bill Gates as your Steve Jobs, is that these were people who on the surface were very intelligent, and I think Steve Jobs is a very intelligent marketeer. I don't think he was a very intelligent engineer. And Bill Gates is. That's a mixed record. We don't have time.
He's on the list.
He's on the list.
Bill
Gates is divorced.
He's on the Epstein list.
He's on
the Epstein list. So I mean, basically, yeah. So yes, he stopped making weapons. Then he made a far worse one. However, this is why I think Tony Stark is just a compelling character, because I'm not going to sit here and say that he's a bad guy because he's just because look, it's good to have both types of superheroes in my opinion. Good to have Superman and Captain America who are essentially morally inflexible and perfect guys, right? and they're going to do the right thing no matter what, right? But people aren't like that. And if the point of superhero content is to inspire people to rise above their, you know, their base natures or their worst impulses or whatever, then it's good to have examples of guys like Tony Stark or Daredevil, you know, or, you know, Spider-Man, like any number of Batman characters that like are not perfect, and yet they still try to do the right thing anyway, right? Like, and it's really easy, in my opinion, to like a lot of leftist content does this, where they criticize these types of characters as if they are just inherently bad or something. I think that's bullshit.
So one thing I want to think about here is when it's sort of an Iron Man 2 topic, but when Tony says that he privatizes world peace, do we see a international incident while he's alive, like actually like a shooting war or something that approaches that? Like, I don't remember there being one.
It doesn't get it back into anything like that until Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I think.
Right. So like,
I mean, the closest would be like, you know, I guess Zemo and Sokovia, but that's really just a one agent guy, you know.
Right. Just one guy.
Right. The MCU never really engages with its own global politics,
right,
until much later. And the implications of privatizing world peace are pretty scary.
Right. Well, I think
if you think about it in a real world context.
Oh yeah.
So
we kind of have one. You know, when you think about the mercenary groups and shit like that.
Yeah. They could have explored that in an Iron Man movie where there's two different visions of privatizing world peace, and the villains are like the mercenary groups or whatever. And
well, I think
Tony
that was Iron Man 2, right? With the hammer drones.
That was also Iron Man 3, though, I think, because Tony literally, you know, you've got a fucking the Mandarin, right? He's not really the Mandarin, but like it's really, what's his name? But surprise, it's a billionaire.
Right. It's
you know,
billionaire, right?
Billionaire, it's AIM,
Right,
and
but
they're doing some shit, and Tony specifically is like, I'm gonna fucking deal with this. Here's how I'm gonna deal with it. Oh wait, you bombed me. I'm kind of fucked now, but nonetheless.
Right, but the plot doesn't revolve around a specific global conflict.
Right.
Excuse me. It's always like a personal vendetta for Tony,
right?
Which fits his character. That's fine.
Yeah.
But the politics of
the politics of the MCU became divorced from IRL in that first Iron Man movie. Basically, like anything that they would have done should have been a different kind of thing, and that's why, like, you know, I think that, you know, it's only at that point it starts only dealing with the consequences of in-universe conflict, like the blip and, you know, all of the displacement that came from that and stuff like that. So, you know, but
I also think that this. There is another movie that does touch on not contemporary real world politics, but real world politics, and that's the first Captain America movie.
Yeah,
which very much is grounded in the history of World War II, a fantastical version of it for sure. And I think it's kind of, we'll get into that movie when we get to it, but I think how it handles the Nazis versus Hydra, like comparing and contrasting those two things, I think is a little ham-fisted.
You know what it does? You know what the MCU does that I'm glad that they kind of did away with it pretty quickly is SHIELD becomes just like the accepted America / global police.
Yeah.
You know, they're an Americanized military force that just is like, well, we're global, you know, deal with it. Like,
it's
and it's like,
NATO.
It's super NATO. Yeah. And you know, in excellent choice for the story. In Captain America 2, they fucking blow that shit up because guess what? It got infiltrated by Nazis.
Right. Getting rid of SHIELD was one of the smartest things the MCU ever did.
Absolutely.
And not just because it made the SHIELD TV show watchable.
That's a big reason, though. The Iron Man 2 does show in a very RoboCop 2 type of scene, because I was just watching that earlier, by the way. RoboCop 2. It's better than I remembered. It really is.
That's a low bar, though.
There's a scene. There's a pretty heartbreaking scene. I won't get into it. It's not what we're talking about. But like, this scene was definitely inspired by it, where they're like showing the different attempts to recreate the thing. And you know, of course, in RoboCop, it's rated R, and it's much more horrifying. The first one, the RoboCop 2 that they introduced, comes out and it fucking shoots one of the scientists and then fucking blows its own brains out. And then the second one that comes out fucking rips its helmet off, and there's like a fleshy skull underneath that's screaming. And it's like, holy shit.
Yeah.
They keep going crazy. But yeah, a similar thing happens in Iron Man 2 with the footage they're watching where they just kind of like that one just kind of collapses in on itself and it's like, there's a guy in there. Anyway.
So I think with this is kind of the last time that the MCU definitely touches on a real world politics. Even people are mentioning the blip in chat, and like somehow the MCU hasn't used the blip as an allegory for COVID.
I think it would maybe be in poor taste due to the many deaths that they're not coming back.
That's true, but they also use the Middle Eastern conflicts the U.S. was involved with, where also many people weren't coming back, and those conflicts were also ongoing.
But they didn't show. I think it's a little bit different. I think it is. Different.
It is different. It's not a 1-to-1 comparison for sure.
Because while that may have affected some people who had family that were service members or whatever, literally everybody was affected by COVID to a degree,
True.
and it would be a little bit more yikes. Not to mention the politicization from the right, in particular, of COVID, would make there just be a lot of rejection of the thing outright. I don't know. It just seems
that's fair. That's interesting.
Seems
point.
iffy. Seems iffy.
I think it is. I think you're right, but I think it's interesting that like we have this 5-year gap that's introduced, and COVID is ongoing, right? That has not gone anywhere. People are still getting sick.
I mean, super chats and channel memberships definitely help us. Will influence me to take time out of what we're already doing sometimes.
Yeah.
But not just like I don't even know what that is, honestly.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that is.
I just want to circle back to Iron Man 1 versus Superman and point out that the aesthetic of global politics in Iron Man and for a lot of the MCU is that America is the good guys.
Mm-hmm.
And in Superman, we are very clearly not. We're not necessarily the villains.
Not the bad guys, but
we're on the wrong side. We're on the wrong side of a political conflict.
Aligned with the villains, kind of either naively or knowingly. It doesn't really go out of its way to say that, but it is.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see if the DCU sticks with that going forward in future movies.
RoboCop 1 used Houston for Detroit too.
Huh.
Yeah.
Did not know that.
There is an excellent multi-part documentary on the Bezos network. If you have that, I wouldn't recommend getting it if you don't have it, but seek it out. It's fucking good. It's called RoboDoc. Very good.
Huh. But yeah, I think it is interesting that yes, in Superman, the U.S. is apathetic to there are individual good people in the United States, the American cast of the story. But as a nation and a populace, we're at best apathetic to the situation. It's like there are allies, and we probably should just let them do what they want, and Superman should stay the fuck out, and
I just realized you could literally still see RoboCop 2 right there on the TV. That wasn't lying, folks.
I believe you.
Might be on Tubi. I don't know. Look it up. Find it. It might be on the open seas. You never know.
You never know. Lots of things on the ocean.
Yeah. So anyway, in Iron Man, just the movie Iron Man, Tony Stark is more or less the personification of the U.S. military industrial complex being the good guy. And in Superman, just the movie Superman, which is all we have to go on right now.
Right, yeah.
Superman is the personification of a higher ideal than just nationalist politics. And the people that the U.S. identifies as bad guys are not necessarily actually the bad guys.
Which is, if you were ever on board for the, war in the Middle East that happened after post 9/11, if you were on board for, I was all for it right at first. You shouldn't feel bad about that because, it definitely hit a personal soft spot of, not just like America rah rah, but holy shit, we took our safety and security for granted. And, it's kind of natural to just want to fucking get back at whoever did that. Right. But that's obviously not what was done. It was used for nefarious means, but that just goes to show how those very valid feelings of we have to get even can be co-opted and probably will be co-opted by fucking darker forces that want to use it for their own ends. Blood for oil type shit.
I think we see the movie criticize the for lack of a better term, the corruption of that ideal with how you have in terms of like you have Rhodey, who is kind of trying to stop him for a good chunk of the movie with like the scene where he's trying to avoid the airplanes and one of them gets shot down. He's got to save the guy. But also that like Tony doesn't get involved in the war after he escapes until he finds out Jensen's village was being attacked. And then for him, it's personal. There's sort of that personal element to it where I think it's kind of divorced from the nationalistic impulse that we had at the time as a country, because he wanted out until he realized that like they're still using his weapons to attack the people that someone he cared about, someone who died for him, died for.
So update, RoboDoc and the RoboCop trilogy and RoboCop the series. Wouldn't recommend that one. They're all on Tubi.
There you go.
And yeah, you know what? This is a good point, man. Like, and this is why I think it was very fucking wise of James Gunn to not have shown, or in the end, literally have Superman go in and be the one that, you know, save him. That instead, his ideal, you know, because yeah, you just have to trust that anybody that had the power to do something like that was going to do the right thing, and you can't really trust that. It almost certainly wouldn't happen that way. That's why Superman is a fantasy.
Right. Well, I think
that type of ideal can inspire people who, you know, are regular people who maybe have the power to influence, to try to, you know, push for or even do the right thing at the right moment.
And it's very telling that there's no scene after that, because if you watch the third act intervention between Boravia by the Justice Gang, they very obviously kill people.
Yeah. And
there is no scene where Superman afterwards lectures them about killing people, and the US government kind of just rolls over and takes it.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, well, I guess this is the new status quo.
Well, and we
superheroes are doing their thing now.
We even see the Justice Gang's backer in Maxwell Lord in one of the TV clips that like doesn't addresses how everyone hates Lex Luthor, right? Like,
right.
He is spinning this for his own agenda, which, you know, I mean, we're all going to dunk on Lex Luthor because fuck that guy. But it's interesting that like no one there is no commentary that the Justice Gang went over and did that.
Right.
And I
so
think
that leaves us.
Go ahead. Okay, so that I think part of it is that because Superman already did it, right? It's already happened once. Superman went over there and stopped the war. When we see like how cooked we are as a culture, once someone does one bad thing or one out of the normal thing, it becomes more and more acceptable for that thing to continue to happen. I mean, look at how we handle school shootings and anti-vaxxers and all sorts of nonsense, right? Like, eventually it just becomes normalized. And I think that one of the things the DCU could do going forward is build on the normalization of this behavior, as we saw in Superman.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. It kind of leaves us with the conclusion that the film is telling us that what the Justice Gang did was unambiguously the right thing to do. That in situations where one country is invading a smaller defenseless country to do a genocide, the right thing to do is intervene unilaterally with lethal force to stop them.
Right. That is the message of the movie, it would seem.
Yeah. So, will that be the message of the DCU going forward? I personally doubt it, but they obviously are going to explore this plot thread in future projects.
So I think it's interesting to tie it to, because I don't think they're going to be in the same continuity, but the Suicide Squad kind of has a not dissimilar beat in its third act, where they can go home, right? Like even like the guy they were there to kill is dead.
And they very likely, or their heads are going to be exploded for doing the right thing.
But they
Only
do
by
the right thing.
Yep.
I'm curious, and they kill a lot of people in that because of Starro bullshit. But like this, like ignoring the politics and doing the right thing seems to be a theme in both of James Gunn's DC movie projects.
I think that that's very, very interesting that James Gunn specifically wrote this way, right? Like he's saying we should strive for the right thing, and no, I'm not going to dirty Superman's hands because he wouldn't do that. But Hot Girl would, because she's just literally a fucking warrior, alien warrior lady.
Right. So we don't know if this one's an alien. Do we know if this one's an alien warrior?
We don't know anything about her yet.
Yeah, they didn't say whether she's Thanagarian or not. So we'll have to wait.
They've changed the Hot Girl and Hawkman's origins so much.
So many times,
yeah.
I want to point out this one other thing here that, like, what does this say? I feel like this is somewhat in defense of Iron Man's intervention here. He grabs the guy. He's all yours. Right? He gives them to the people.
Yeah.
He doesn't take care of himself. He's not a threat to them, so he knows he can just say, like, here, do your justice. That's not, I'm here to protect and I'm out. So I think that's a point in his favor with this intervention, right?
Yeah. In the context of the movie, this is a point in his favor. In the context of the meta narrative of the movie, this is the U.S. being greeted as liberators by the Middle Eastern country we invaded. That's what this is playing out. And that didn't turn out so well.
I also think that it's sort of an optimistic take that, like, we can help the people there, however you want to describe them.
I mean, this is essentially what we did to Saddam Hussein.
Right.
Yeah.
Who was not a popular person with his people.
No. Didn't he get Gaddafi'd as well? Or like Gaddafi up the butt? I mean, I know they like killed Gaddafi up the butt, but like, man, I don't know if you read about
I know they killed him. I don't know how they killed him.
Well, they hung Gaddafi for the thing.
Yeah.
But Gaddafi was killed by the people, and it was very fucking violent and upsetting to read about if you ever read about it.
Yeah. But he kind of had it coming,
Yeah, a little bit.
Despite the fact that he was one of the goofiest dictators in the world with his like all-female bodyguard squad, the fact that he wore lion skins and tried to be like a 1960s Bond villain aesthetic his whole life.
A bunch of fucking bad, fucking facial surgery and stuff too.
What sucks about being the goofiest dictator is you're still a dictator.
Yeah. All the dictators are kind of goofy. Yeah, I guess you'd have to be because you're so isisolated and crazy. Like Saddam Hussein.
Look at Elon Musk. Trump. The more you have just yes men around you, like the richer you are, the more powerful you are. Nobody's going to question you. They're going to look at you, fucking painting a big piece of shit all over your face. They're taking a turd and wipe it on your face, and they go, "Yes, sir. That's a great look, sir." But yeah. I mean, I think every Lantern's kind of at least temporarily been a Red Lantern for one reason or another, just for got to do this to beat the bad guy kind of thing. Anyway.
Yeah, Supergirl was a Red Lantern for a story arc in the New 52.
Yep.
Which is one of the cooler things the New 52 did.
What would be interesting is we're getting her movie next year, and we're getting season 1 of Lanterns next year as well. Mm-hmm. Season 2 of Lanterns could tell that story, maybe.
Yeah,
maybe. I do think it's telling that
I thought
the show
was
called
Bin Laden that was like in love with Condoleezza Rice. Maybe both of them. I'm pretty sure Bin Laden was like it was confirmed that he had like a big fascination with Condoleezza Rice, like he was into her.
Oh,
I mean,
who knows? But I think it's referring to what Morgan just said.
Yeah.
I think it's telling that the show is called Lanterns and not Green Lanterns, because that strongly implies to me that we're going to see the other Lantern Corps at least once or twice in that show.
I would think that Lanterns would build into a pretty epic movie. I imagine that's what at least ostensibly going to be the plan. Assuming they can get people to watch it and they can do a story that
well, it's nice that we finally
starts on the ground and then builds up. That would be fucking awesome.
Well, it's cool that we finally had our first depiction of a real Green Lantern in a live action movie.
And not just any, but Guy Gardner. And he's just fucking, I saw some chuds trying to be like, oh, that's so edgy. No, it's just characterization. That's Guy
just
Gardner.
Guy Gardner.
Doing middle fingers as he's killing these fucking guys is fucking awesome.
It's
a comic accurate Guy Gardner. Yeah.
That's Guy, man.
That's just the guy. Yeah.
So I'm sort of hoping that whatever the big meta narrative of the DCU is over the next 10 years, that it's going to be a Green Lantern Corps centered story. That would be like if we got like the War of Light, or
I would say, yeah, I would much rather
something
have
like
the
that.
War of Light over doing more New God stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I think that's the way to separate it. And I think, honestly, it really kind of seems like that would be right up James Gunn's alley as far as the choice he would make for overarching story.
Yeah.
Is,
There's two other
it's so
choices I
unique.
think he could make.
It's so unique, but it's also visually going to be a feast, which James Gunn definitely thinks about all the time, right? Like, so, what were you going to say?
Yeah.
The other two?
Oh, the other two that I think James Gunn could do that would set the DCU apart from the MCU quite starkly would be The Center, which was the story behind New Frontier.
Oh,
which is not. I don't think that's canon. But The Center is basically like an entity who lives at the center of the earth, and it is the island of the dinosaurs in DCU, or in the DC comics. Or he could do the Legion of Doom.
Just do the Legion. Oh man,
because we haven't seen a team of villains in the MCU.
Yeah, we haven't. And
Did
the
you know
Legion
that
of Doom is
the
like
building that they used for the Hall of Justice in the movie is actually the building that the cartoon Hall of Justice was modeled after originally?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because at the time it was a train station they were building in Cleveland. Yeah, I've seen the building.
awesome.
Yeah, Grand Theft Autobot. I know that New Frontier is not canon to DC Comics, but there's no reason it can't be canon to the DCU.
Canon
Superman,
is just a lie by
the
Big
message
Wiki.
behind Superman coming to Earth being that he's supposed to, conquer and take up a harem is also not canon to mainstream continuity.
Right.
However, I do want to say that I saw from the Josh Horowitz Happy Sad Whatever podcast that's been dropping clips. The whole thing's up, but I've been seeing clips here and there of his discussion with James Gunn. Apparently, that is just what the message is, and that's what it's going to be going forward. They're not going to reveal like, oh no, it was mistranslated or something. That is what Superman's, which I think makes sense because it would kind of undermine his personal growth in the movie.
Right. That was Krypton, Jor-El trying to do white replacement theory on us.
Yep.
Right. And it's interesting to me that I haven't seen any of the chuds point out that's sort of like verifies their immigration narrative that the foreigners are all coming here to replace us.
Exactly. That's crazy that they haven't pointed that out. I mean, we're pointing out right now that is very specifically the absolute subconscious fear that drives all this fucking anti-immigration hate, is that they're going to come here, they're going to take our women, they're going to fucking change our way of life, they're going to take our women and fucking impregnate them and make little babies that look more like them in fealty to them. Like, that is the fucking sheer shit pants filling panic that fucking underlies all of this shit. And James Gunn just wrote it into Jor-El's mouth. It's pretty crazy.
Right. So, I mean, in the context of the movie, it's saying, yes, it's true. They do want to come here and take our women and replace us. And we're just lucky that Superman turned out to be such a decent guy that he wouldn't do that.
I know that you don't believe that. I'm going to push back on it anyway. In the context of the movie, it's saying that even if this was the case, it doesn't matter because every person decides what they're going to do, and
Right.
they're nobody is beholden to their ancestors or their fucking parents or anything. And Superman, by taking thinking that the rest of the message just was like more about like, yeah, show him what's up, show him how to be a good person and stuff, and just otherwise be a cool guy, like his dad tells him. The fact that he assumed that's what it was says everything about him.
Right. And it's a great, I think I don't know if I would call it great, but I understand that why James Gunn made that choice, because he wanted to highlight the fact that Superman chooses humanity over his Kryptonian heritage.
I'm curious how that's going to play into Supergirl.
Well, I see a couple ways they could go with it.
I mean, she was a little lost, so maybe she's not sure what to do with all that information. I have seen people saying, why didn't Supergirl know what the rest of the message was? Why didn't why couldn't the Green Lantern's ring translate it? It's going to translate languages, stuff like that. Valid questions. I don't know that it needed to be answered in the movie, but I didn't think about it during the movies.
They're both sort of answered. Number one, the Green Lantern never saw the message that.
True. But I mean, Yeah. So yeah, that actually confirms the fact that it must be literally what the message is.
Right.
Because Mr. Terrific confirms it. That's, you know what? One criticism about Superman. I don't like how Mr. Terrific confirms that. He's just like, I know all these people. They said it was legit, so it's legit.
Mm-hmm.
That's literally basically.
Okay, so that means the message that they got off the Kryptonian computer was not tampered with at the source.
Right.
Fair enough.
In other words, like Lex Luthor did not manipulate it. This doesn't mean that it wasn't tampered with internally, like by, say, Brainiac or the Eradicator, perhaps.
Or Zod.
Anybody but Zod, not Zod. No, we don't need.
I hope it's not Zod. I hope we're not seeing Zod.
Yeah.
For a long time.
And the reason Supergirl would not know what the message said is because those are not her parents.
Well,
she was sent in an entirely separate spaceship by her own
not
parents.
Kryptonian?
No, she's a Kryptonian.
What? She's a Kryptonian, but
she didn't see it because his robots couldn't even access it. That's what the answer is.
Right.
They could not even access that part of the message in the first place. That only the engineer, the first one to ever hear it, in Lex. So yeah. I don't know if she's that rebellious.
Well, allegedly, the Supergirl movie is going to be based on the comic book Woman of Tomorrow.
Story is, but the characterization doesn't seem to be at all. And so like somebody was saying, I forget who it was talking about this recently, but like that it was assumed that that because Jason Momoa in the best casting possible, really, is going to be playing Lobo. It was kind of assumed that he was going to be a villain, but then we're like, what if he's not? What if they're fucking drinking buddies? Isn't that going to be awesome?
That would be really cool.
Just the fucking little Supergirl and then fucking big ass crazy Lobo going around fucking shit up, getting drunk.
Well, what little we've seen of Supergirl in this version is a bit of a callback to the New 52 and some other versions too, because she, unlike Superman, she was not a baby when Krypton was destroyed.
No, she actually
or her asteroid city, either one, depending on which background you go with. But either way, she was old enough to see her whole family die, her entire civilization die right in front of her. So she's carrying a lot of trauma around, a lot of survivors killed, where that Superman doesn't have, because he does not remember any of that. He just knows about it sort of academically.
He's got a clean slate, which makes sense why she calls him bitch.
Yeah.
Also, it's interesting that I'm curious if it's going to be the same thing they've done in other versions where
excuse me,
she arrives after him.
Yeah.
That like even though they were launched at about the same time, that he gets there years ahead of her. And so that just adds to her like, okay, there's one Kryptonian left and he's younger than me, but also now he's a full grown adult because I'm late. Yeah,
I feel like
as much as I like,
we don't know for sure yet. We have to see what they do in the Supergirl movie.
Yeah,
at least they haven't shown us his party phase anyway. But yeah. Well, I think we've about exhausted the conversation for now. Anyway, at least I'm
lapped
tired.
poor Sam again.
Do what now?
We've lapped Sam again on the left.
Oh, right. Yeah. Let me do the drop. Boop.
On your left. On my left. Got it.
Do you get it?
I got it.
I got it. I hope the audience got it.
I hope so too.
It's on your left.
So if y'all enjoyed that segment, we would like to do more of these. And we probably are going to do more of these regardless, but it would be cool to make it its own thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then you guys seem to be pretty engaged with it, which is cool too. So, if you did enjoy this, please hit the like button. If you really enjoyed it and you think it's a great idea, leave a comment. Say, on your left sounds like a great idea. Let us know what format you might want to see it in. Because right now we're going to try it out with Fapcast, but it could become something else,
Yeah. So I think
if you only knew how true this was, buddy. If you only knew how true this was. I'm not going to explain that at all. Yes.
Yeah.
More on your
So
left.
like the plan we originally discussed was we would start, like Dane said earlier, starting with the MCU. We'd go through it, I guess, in movie release order.
think we talked about character order, so like doing the Iron Man movies.
I don't think we decided which of those we were going to go with, though. We discussed
what do you
character
think?
order and we discussed movie release order, but in each case we would talk about the politics of the movie in relation to itself, like its own internal politics, the politics of the MCU as a fictional world, and how that relates to the politics of the time the film was released in the real world. All of that sound, plus the inserting usual nerd comments that any discussion like this would have.
It seems like we have a little hit on our hands here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see how it does in the algorithm.
The algorithm.
Yeah. Because we'll definitely clip this. You'll see it upload if you want to, if you missed any of it and you want to see the full thing, I'll have it uploaded pretty quick, I think. I'll run it to the front of the line in my long line of backlogged edited stuff that I need to upload. Cool. Because it was exciting for us to talk about, think about doing, and glad it seems exciting for you guys. It allows us to kind of dip our both feet into the two areas that this channel tends to cover at the same time, and I think that's pretty swell.
Yeah. Well, Screwface Capone, the DCU is already doing that. Like the next project coming out is Peacemaker Season 2, which James Gunn has said is going to have more to do with the general where the story is going than the Superman movie did. Supergirl is not one of the big three, although she's kind of in the family.
So if that's the case, what we know is that this Season 2 of Peacemaker, it has to do with a literal alternate reality where things are mostly the same, but not quite.
Yeah.
Are we going to just get Cavill and shit back in this fucking DCU? Is that what he's doing? Is he going to do that?
James Gunn has said he would like to cast Henry Cavill as a different character because of how Cavill basically got fucked over.
I will say,
by The Rock.
You know who I want Henry Cavill to play?
Zod.
No, fuck you.
Captain Britain.
That's MCU, but yes.
Yeah, I know, but that's why it would be awesome, Captain Britain in the MCU.
He would be a very cool Captain Marvel.
Shazam.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Shazam. So my son asked me about Captain Marvel the other day and was like, was this name Shazam? I was trying to explain that to anybody but a 10-year-old and like expect him to care about all the legal stuff. It's like, well, because this company owned it and this company and this and blah, blah, blah. It's like, never mind. It's Shazam now. Don't worry about it.
Oh, we got here's one. Screwface. Have Cavill play Batman.
That would be cool too. Although
be
Gunn has publicly said he likes the idea of Alan Ritchson as Batman.
Ooh.
Or well, he was asked. It's not what he said, but it was strongly implied
as a guy and as an actor, and he did not connect that statement to. Although that's what he was asked about, but he was asked about what do you think about Alan Ritchson. He goes, I love Alan Ritchson as an actor and as a guy, and then he kind of stopped. But I mean,
yeah. So it's out there, but yeah, after Peacemaker Season 2, we're getting the Lanterns TV show, and we're getting the Supergirl movie, and then the next movie after that confirmed is Clayface, which they said is going to be a body horror movie.
That's what excites me the most is knowing that they are legitimately fast tracking the best scripts. Somebody wrote a fucking bomb ass script for Clayface, right?
Right.
And like everybody, basically, you have to imagine everybody that's reading is like, holy shit. This is, James Gunn reads and he's like, holy fucking shit, I love this. And so he's pushing it to the front of the line. Clayface, it has to be something special if you're prioritizing that, right?
Right. And the other thing I like that he's doing, he said that there's not going to be a company style the way there is with the MCU. So each movie is going to have a tone and an aesthetic that is specific to that movie based on what the story is going to be. I think Clayface might actually end up being an R-rated movie. I've heard that too.
Fits the DCU, like the DC comics, better as an adaptation to make comic book movies.
Yes.
Where like DC comics,
Marvel is superhero movies, DC is comic book movies, right? Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
But I mean, Thunderbolts is a strong argument for Marvel doing somewhat similar. That's not so far out of the bounds of typical MCU fare, but it's enough of a step out of it that it's notable. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And like, Clayface is political. No, I've not read the new fucking. I've seen images now of Killer Croc, and holy fuck, I gotta get caught up on Absolute Batman because that looks insane.
Have you seen Absolute Killer Croc?
No, that's what I'm saying. I've seen pictures that I haven't read.
Nightmare Fuel, man.
Like, how is his mouth like? It's his whole body basically,
right?
And yeah, fucking crazy.
Henry Cavill as DCU Jay Garrick.
No, let's go back to what I was saying. Do you know how big of a fucking flex it would be for James Gunn to turn around and fold back in the DCEU, or at least elements of it?
Sure,
and then
do a Crisis on
Snyder
Infinite
Bros
Earths?
fucking eat their own faces and not being able to cope with how fucking awesome that is. Like,
right. Have Cavill play like Golden Age Superman from Earth 2 or something like that.
Wait, should have been. Oh yeah, that one. Yeah, Earth 2 Superman. Yeah, Crisis, Infinite Crisis.
And then,
Superman.
and then bring in Michael B. Jordan as Val Zod or Calvin Ellis from another reality as well.
Just say for the fun of it, grab what's his name that from Smallville and have him play fucking Superboy Prime.
Yeah. Who, by the way, is back or about to be back in the pages of Superman.
Wow, really? Superboy Prime
Yeah,
going back. Huh?
DC is leading up to a big event. They always lead up to a big event.
It's
That's
always
going to cross over with the Absolute Universe. The Absolute Universe and the main universe are going to cross over in an event called Absolute Evil. And it looks like Superboy Prime, including the breaking of the fourth wall and everything.
He's back.
He's
always back,
baby.
Well, yeah, because his whole thing is he's a superhero, or he's super powered in a world where DC is a comic book, where these characters are fictional.
He was literally written to be the entitled fandom from that era, like, which, you know, where he's just like, no, I don't like it this way, it's not fair, and I'm gonna fucking make everybody suffer because of it.
Yep.
Basically, yeah.
He was in the whatever storyline it was where they fought the Batman Who Laughs. So he's been back recently.
Yeah, he was in that where he's not he's still him, but he's not an antagonist. He's just like, fucking hate this guy.
That's one thing that I do, I guess. I do like certain things about the way DC specifically does their events. I don't like things sometimes, you know, more recently it's been better. But even like Crisis on Infinite Earths, man, are you going to try and tell me that you can fucking wrap your head around that? You know, I don't like you kind of just have to do the best you can. Same thing with Final Crisis. You know what I mean? Like,
the first step of Final Crisis, like, okay, before you open the first issue, what you have to do is you have to imagine that Grant Morrison is stepping out of his front porch to pick up the mail, and a cloud of smoke wafts out of the house behind him as he's going to grab his mail.
Like, you know, all kinds of shit all at once. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's up?
I just had another thought about who Henry Cavill could play in the DCU that would really get people mad. Apollo from The Authority.
Oh.
Or
Midnighter,
yeah.
Screwface, I'm gonna have to dock you 1 point on saying sorry, the wrong one. On saying a thing that was true 5 years ago, but is not really so anymore. Sorry.
Yeah, it depends on the event. Some of them are good.
They do mini events now. They'll have, like, you know, a little spin-off of like Ghost Rider and Wolverine does a thing for a few issues, but you don't have to read it, you know, the whole thing. One of the most well executed events was goddamn Devil's Reign.
I forgot that was right, yeah.
It's fucking
and also
excellent.
DC does big like retcon events all the fucking time.
Yeah,
that's their thing. Yeah,
it gets
when they do them,
tiresome.
they're trying to fucking fix something that some editor fucked up 10 years ago.
Like I like the last, like all of the Batman Who Laughs stuff. That wore out its welcome. Dark Knight's Metal and
See, this is what I'm saying. One World Under Doom is really the ideal kind of Marvel event, if you want to call it that, because it's got its 8 or 9 issues, but you don't have to read them to know what's going on. But at the same time, there's the banner over a lot of the main issues, main stuff going on, and sometimes they're more involved with that or not. Kind of the Dark Reign kind of format from back in the day.
Yeah.
Right, where like Dark Reign banner was on everything for like a year, and some books heavily involved all that, and some of it were just kind of dancing around the edges of it. And
yeah,
I like that. That's
Screwface mentions that or
haven't started it.
My beef was with Blood Hunt though. Yeah, Blood Hunt was not great as far as
it didn't end well. It started off really strong.
Yeah, great beginning. Yeah,
dance until it ended. It's just fucking long fart noise.
And DC's Dark Crisis was not great either.
I wanted to like it, man. I want, you know, the reason I liked it is because it did showcase a lot of the younger characters and stuff that they could do things to that like they're valid as a Justice League of their own for future references. You know what I mean? So like there's that, but like yeah, it wasn't super compelling.
No.
Yeah, it was done to like unretcon the retcon of Crisis on Infinite Earths originally. So now everything is canon. It just happened in a different universe, but the main characters remember all of it, even if it wasn't their universe. And it took away the boldest choice DC made with the Dawn of DC initiative, which was retiring the Justice League and making the Titans the flagship team of that universe.
Yep.
And then they just said, nah, we're going to take that away. Bring back the Justice League.
I will say this again, because we're talking about DC books and stuff. Don't fucking read Batman Fortress. What a piece of shit. Don't read that.
Yeah.
Pretty
I've heard nothing but bad things.
Yeah, as far as Age of Revelation, I read the one shot that was on Marvel Unlimited, and I am whelmed.
I'm doing a Mauler impression here. I would say
Civil War was the most.
He stole that from Young Justice.
Yeah, I know.
And that's why I used it, was because of the comic book reference.
Just the most fucking useless goddamn event, and just like insulting in many ways. The overall thing, and then several things contained within it. As a Hulk fan, as somebody who was totally in on the Totally Awesome Hulk, because it made sense for a character, Amadeus Cho, that had been in the Hulk books for a decade plus, you know, cool, let's do that. And the thing was that he cured Banner for him. Like Amadeus cured him, and he gave him the cure so that he could be free for once, right? And then suddenly in Civil War 2, oh wait, no, he told Hawkeye if he ever turns again to put this arrow through his eye, and he turned again. And no explanation as to why. It just erased Amadeus Cho's fucking, ultimate gift and sacrifice. Well, I wouldn't call it sacrifice, because once again, he loved being the Hulk.
Right.
Imperial number 2. Strong fucking book. 2 issues in, excellent. Especially issue 2.
The first issue did not grab me at all. I was
fuck this. Issue 1. Issue 2 is war. Just fucking war. It's fucking Jonathan Hickman writing galactic war between all the major fucking players, and it's intrigue and oh shit, what the fuck, and strategic fuck yous and all this stuff. It's so good. Anyway,
I'll have to check it out, especially because it sounds like X-Men's going to be in a weird space for soon.
What are they doing with the? I'll
so
look into it.
Age of Revelation is X number of years in the future. Revelation, who is the heir to Darkseid,
Doug Ramsey,
formerly known as Cypher, does a thing, and I don't want to spoil what that is. And his powers are enhanced by by Apocalypse, to become more powerful. And he Zorn describes it as he creates heaven but rules it as the devil.
It's kind of weird.
Like Zorn is the only one who's not affected by his upgraded powers because of his black hole brain. So I am we'll see. Some of the tie-ins sound interesting, but it's tie-ins to a jump in the future event, because the crux of it is that Cyclops is writing a book to send back in time to himself to stop all of this. So we already know that it's a tie, like it's going to close the loop. So I'm like, this is.
So I want to close the pod on this. It's going to be a little bit of a bomb I'm going to drop here. You guys have been around a while. You know mine and I believe Morgan's love of the Krakoan era.
Yeah,
right?
Some of the best X-Men comics ever.
Definitely, like I would say, other than the classic greats, so, some of them that maybe a few of those are overstated, but most of them generally great classic comics. Is the best X-Men comics outside of this. Okay, I loved it. I was very fucking legitimately torn up whenever it was ending. Like I was legit kind of upset at Marvel for quite a while. Still kind of am in a way. However, in light of recent IRL geopolitical events, my view on Krakoa as an ethno-state has soured.
I think that was always part of the
And I think it probably was. It was probably partly to like get you to think about it, you know, in from that perspective. But like for a long time, I was like, fuck it. Yeah, they deserve their own fucking place. Yeah, look, give it to them. You know, let them have it. Fuck yeah, right. And now I'm kind of like, it's a little iffy.
Yeah, and I think this was sort of like some of the stuff in like in the main X-Men book when they right after the era started, and especially in Immortal X-Men, the whole message of Immortal X-Men was it's 24 or 20 issues of this was a mistake.
Yeah, this is a bad idea completely.
This was a really bad idea.
Kieran Gillen was like, okay, you want me to write this? Cool. I'm going to write about how this is just going to fucking fuck a lot of things up no matter what you do.
It was a cool era. I love a lot of the stories in it, but like part of the reason it had to end was because its founding sins were damning.
That makes me wonder if it wouldn't have ended had October 7th not have popped off.
I think
or not as soon. I wonder if that was part of the actual editorial decision to axe it.
It might be. I don't know.
It was supposed to go on a couple of years longer from earlier, you know, what Hickman's intentions were.
Right. But that's Hickman left. Well, Hickman was, I don't know if he left or was removed from the X-Men books over creative differences, and that might be part of it.
But I mean, yeah, I can't help but wonder if that was at least in the discussion of like, yeah, this kind of looks bad in light of, you know, that it seems like Israel's doing a genocide, and we should maybe not have an ethno state that's using its power to just fuck anybody that fucks with them. You know what I mean? Yeah, because guess what? Krakoans did a genocide too. Fucking Beast did a genocide.
Beast did a genocide. Yeah, like that's another book that is like this was all a mistake. Was X-Force? X-Force is very much like, oh, this is not a good idea.
Yeah. And meanwhile, the X-Men book, and it almost like it did invert the X-Men in such an interesting way though, because the X-Men book, by and large, was like, we're fucking superheroes. We're legit. Everybody loves us superheroes, and it just goes to show like. What at what cost? So that's what you're reading if you're reading the main X-Men book is like, look, that he's fucking global superheroes for the first time in a long time anyway, maybe more so than ever. People love these X-Men. They're a fucking legit superhero team in league with the Avengers and so on. But then underneath it all, what was the cost of that, right? And it was not fucking worth it.
The thing I think that I'm most soured by Age of Revelation is that we're getting like just as I think like the main X-Men book is getting good because it struggled on and off. We're diverting to this alternate timeline, and Uncanny X-Men has every issue's a banger, other than exactly the X-Manhunt issue. Every issue is fantastic.
Right. That's the one that sucked.
That's the one that sucks.
Yeah.
And so to have all of these
caught up on the dark artery stuff.
Yes. Oh, I caught up on the whole. I'm caught up to where
Ex
the
Mutina
movie came out, where Ex Mutina came out. Yeah.
It's interesting stuff.
I love how in that issue, in the Ex Mutina issue, where Deathstream wants to see the movie with the cute otters. I want to see the singing cartoon movie. Like when they.
I said I have not read it. However, I did read the first issue of this, and I thought it was pretty fucking excellent.
Yes,
it's a really exciting thing to have Cap in that specific moment, and to know exactly like to really get an understanding what was going on in his head immediately after being unfrozen, and like before he's really an Avenger and stuff like that. That's brilliant of Chip Zdarsky to identify that as an unexplored territory.
Yeah, it's good to see them slide the timescale forward again, because Captain America's sort of been in limbo for a while, as to where he comes out of the ice.
Yeah.
So it's good to see that. I think the idea of this Iraq-Afghanistan war, Captain America as a separate character, seems very interesting, and I'm looking forward to see where that's going. And Chip Zdarsky is just a really good writer for the most part. Like some of his Batman stuff missed me, but some of it was really good.
I need to catch up on Wolverine. I'm pretty broke for the rest of the month. By the way, you can buy me a comic down below in the link in the description. You can also subscribe to Bob of the Old Ways, of which you should do. You might even be watching on his channel. If you are, hi.
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 This is Bob.
Let's see. Right now, I think we have 2 people watching.
There's
3 people watching
in the
channel.
opening now. So it took me long enough to stop accidentally using the old one and put Bob in there.
I just put up a video earlier well, I think it was last week now, because this is Sunday. But a video about my experience seeing Superman 2025 for the first time. I've seen it more than once now, and how it was just such a unexpected, transcendent experience for me that it sent me off on a thought tangent about science, religion, spirituality, and superheroes all in one. So,
Very good
go
video.
check that out.
Very, very good. And then just to showcase a couple of things got me excited. Some images here. Here's one.
Aww.
That's Gordy.
Hey, Gordy.
Gordy. Hi, Gordy.
That wasn't what I was going to pick, but I saw it on my way scrolling through and was like, fuck it.
Yeah, absolutely. Put a Gordy pick up there.
Otherwise, there is where is it? I know I have it. God damn it. Or maybe it's not going to let me show that. Oh, there it is. Okay. I was like, oh, maybe it's the wrong file format. No.
Oh.
The maker's coming, and they're calling it Ultimate Endgame because money.
Money, yeah. Also, it's interesting to see Maystorm drawn by an artist that isn't Peach Momoko.
Yeah, true. That will be interesting. I mean, I imagine she's not going to be doing the whole thing or any of it, maybe. But
Oh, this reminds me. Maybe you're going to show them, but since Peach Momoko was mentioned, she did draw one of the variant covers for the Batman Deadpool.
Oh,
crossover.
yeah, she did.
I did not see
Oh, yeah, she did.
but I do have something of a different cover of Batman Deadpool that I'd like to show, just because, for one, Steve McNiven. For two, Batman. For three. Wait, what comes after two? Three. Three. Where's it at? God damn it! I lost it.
I think I know who you're going to say.
I'm not going to say Deadpool.
No, you're not. I think this is one that's going to go in your Gooner file.
Gonna go in, yeah.
It's already there.
In the future, right? Where's it at? All right, here we go. Sorry. Oh, sorry. Let me remove the picture.
Yeah,
then show it.
Look at that.
Look at that.
Not the best quality, but still, holy shit!
Now,
look, it's got the batarangs and stickers there.
Right. I was going to say it took me a couple of passes to notice that Batman is using batarangs as claws. In this picture.
I wonder at what point did he realize, oh, I can just kind of fuck this guy up and it's fine, and then like I don't get to see that.
Well, that's the thing, right? Wolverine can fuck Batman up, and it will fuck Batman up.
But would he if he didn't know he was just a complete piece of shit? No.
Right. Yeah.
Wolverine doesn't.
What I find intriguing about all these variant covers is I'm wondering how big is this crossover event going to be? Is it going to? Because right now all we know about is I think a one shot published by Marvel and a one shot published by DC that's going to be Batman and Deadpool with backup stories in it. But I've seen some reporting that there's going to be more crossover issues.
I've been paying attention to this shit a long time. Let me tell you how it's going to go down. You can fucking quote me on this. They're doing a one shot from both publishers because that's how they legally that's how they ended up doing it in the 90s. Their creators have been wanting to do crossovers for this entire time. They complain about it sometimes, like, we want to do this, but legal gets in the way. The fact of like, oh, who gets to do this, who gets to do that, what character gets to win, that type of shit. If you remember, that was actually a big deal with the JLA versus Avengers back in the day. Like they had to do multiple conferences with editors and writers and fucking hardcore like argue about who would win and why. No, we can't let this character be seen as losing, and that type of thing. So like, for example, Superman could not lose. So but understandably, Hulk is a good match for him, and Hulk kind of loses a lot, so it's kind of not that big a deal, right?
But often you want Hulk to lose, right? Like if Hulk wins, that's a bad thing a lot of times.
Yeah, but like, so what they do, and they're doing the same thing they did back then, is they make it a co-equal thing where one publisher publishes one part of the thing. So like the original JLA Avengers or Marvel versus DC, I think. Sorry, not JLA Avengers, was one publisher did number 1, the other publisher did number 2. The other publisher did number 3, back and forth to make it even. So they're doing it that way, kind of, with this one shot, where they're doing a one shot from Marvel, which is Deadpool, Batman,
right?
And then DC is doing Batman, Deadpool, so that they can each have their guy first. They're probably going to have in their issue make their guy look a little better. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
more of their supporting characters.
No, but what I meant
like
is
ego, but like I kind of get it in a way. Isn't that weird? Like this is the most like kind of like I kind of get the corporatese of this. It makes some sense to me.
It's pro wrestling.
Yeah. What I meant though is that I've seen some reporting like of vague things that the creators have said that the Deadpool Wolverine crossover is not going to be the only full title that they do, that we're going to see more of this in 2026.
They're just announcing the first one, and then in that something is going to be set up.
Sure.
That's going to get people talking, and it's going to, because they're going for clicks, they're going for virality, it's going to get people talking, and that's going to get more interest, and then they're going to, so like they're kind of taking it a step at a time, and that's smart. You know, instead of trying to blast people with this crossover, they're going to fucking pull people in, and I think that's a really good strategy.
Yeah, because some of the other variant covers are very intriguing. If they're not just backup features, because there's a lot of variant covers, more than they could fit as backup features in a 64-page book.
Right.
So like,
I would love to look at some of those.
They're
as
almost
main
certainly going to
titles.
be looking at the social media people for each publisher is almost certainly looking at what images get shared, what images get talked about, tweeted the most, or blue sky the most, that kind of thing. What are people saying about it? Like, it's a certainty. And they're gonna make some choices based on that, and I'm all for it.
Well, I hope the Green Arrow Daredevil is one of them, and
he's so good.
Yeah,
and they've now released a variant cover that has Catwoman and Magic and Captain America and Wonder Woman,
and
also Crypto and Jeff the Landshark.
Yes, that's adorable.
That's all.
That's gonna be one of the backups. I think we know is that's gonna be one of the backups.
Yeah.
I don't know of any specific DC ones that have been done, but man, they should do Combo Man versus somebody. You know, bring back fucking Combo Man. The most atrocious corporate marriage of fucking products. You know, well, one of them anyway. Absolute Ultimate Secret Crisis on Infinity Earths. Yes.
No, it's Absolute Civil Ultimate Secret Crisis
Right.
on Infinity Years.
I was trying to figure out how to fit Civil War in there.
In that, but one of the ones that I loved, even though it didn't have a winner, because it doesn't matter, the outcome was so great. Batman versus Captain America. You remember that?
Yeah.
Where they just start they're just kind of testing each other out, and they kind of just like boom, boom, punch, block, kick, block, and they neither one of them get a hit on the other one, and they finally just kind of like go, respect, bro, basically. And they fucking just
you're all right.
Right.
They're just completely
Well,
evenly.
that was in the context of the what led up to the Amalgam universe, though.
Yeah.
Because the fact that those two basically refused to fight led to the Amalgam event.
Because Marvel versus DC, it was I think the first and still only character, I guess legally it's still the same, that they both own. They created the character of, what was this called?
Access. Yeah.
Yes, Access, the one that could access both universes. So he is co-owned by Marvel and DC. I wonder if he's going to show back up. No, don't do it. He's
Bro,
pretty
don't
lame.
do it. Bro, don't do it.
But that was the mechanism that allowed
a one-trick version of America Chavez. He can only enter 2 different universes, not all of them. But for this event, I think America Chavez, maybe they'll do an America Chavez and Access team up as well.
Huh. Did Jay Kong puts this one up? The Captain Marvels would be cool. And please. Yes.
That it could be, however, that would open up the legal fucking shitstorm that they finally settled by just going, fine, we'll call him Shazam.
Well, you still just have him in the same book, right? They like he'll still be Shazam or the Champion or whatever they're calling him this month. But have those characters in the same book.
Right. I know it's easy to point to Infinity as being the thing, or Wars or whatever, but like more recently, Marvel's been doing those. They did those warps. They could do like Crisis warps or something like that. And I don't know. It's a fun book. This one I dropped in the toilet. I don't remember
I do.
Infinity Corpse, I dropped it in the toilet before I flushed. It was pretty awful.
Well, the way I hope they start this crossover event is with a story where the two universes are already one. They're already like in the same universe together, and they find out later on that they're not supposed to be, and have to.
Where
and then
like
the
it
plot
starts
across.
Yeah, I like that. Like it opens up and you just follow maybe like Superman or Batman, and then he's like, I've got to go meet a friend, and then it's like fucking Captain America or something. They're talking like they've known each other for years, and you're just like, wait, what? That would be cool.
Yeah. Well, the synopsis we have for the first issue of Deadpool Batman, it says something to the effect that Deadpool comes to Gotham for like to get a target or something, and runs into Batman, and so that's what I mean. Like, started off as if these characters have always been in the same universe together, and then over the course of the event, they figure out that they're not supposed to be, and they have to go figure out what went wrong or something.
Right.
Batman and like Blue Marvel
or something.
Think about this: Batman and Blue Marvel working together to uncover to investigate what the hell's going on with this, right? Like that would be fuck, because Blue Marvel's perfect for the
Oh
multiverse.
yeah, he is.
But Batman being the detective, like, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
That would be really cool.
Right. Well, I'm gonna get going here. If you guys
All
want to stay on the chat, you can.
No, probably
I should go eat dinner.
You should eat dinner.
You should, because, and this is what happens when you do that.
See, out of all of the AI ones you showed us, that is the one that is closest to being anatomically accurate.
Vaguely, almost kind of like, it's just really the sound that fucks it up for me. It's like, it's just a steady drip. Jesus Christ.
Bill, if you can hear me, save me from Dane's AI shit posting. I don't ask you for much, Bill.
I wouldn't do it if it wasn't trying to educate you about how scary shit's getting out there. Like that's it's just labeled as how things go, and nobody's fucking doing anything about it. YouTube, you pieces of shit. Anyway, but we love you.
Watch this gets flagged for disinformation for showing the clips that YouTube is just fine with.
This cat, he loves you.
Uh-huh.
He doesn't, but he loves you. Okay, I've got a picture of him.
Dane's ankles too.
We were fucking cleaning out some stuff, and we had just a pile of random stuff on the bed. And Gordy, like a goddamn dragon, hoarding fucking riches, just fucking crawled onto the top of it. And he's just like, we were laughing, taking pictures and shit. Like, you fucking dragon. Hear our prayer. All right, you guys are great. You're lovely. I'd love to see GI Robot with Captain America killing some Nazis. By the way,
That'd be lovely.
That'd be awesome. Yeah,
fantastic.
You know what would be a cool one? GI Robot and the original Human Torch.
Yes. With that in mind, we always say around here.
Enjoy the negative grift, guys. I'm out.
Hey, buddy. Eyes up here.